Welcome everyone to Sky Gardens. This is a supercut of my entire Sky Gardens Sandbox series. We built a zoo on top of a huge skyscraper. This is inspired obviously by the Singapore Marina Bay Hotel, but this one is inspired as being a zoo on top of that huge building. And in this upcoming 3 hours plus X, you'll be witnessing me building this project almost 4 years ago. And at the very end, there is a tour with the wonderful Bo, who used to be the community manager of Frontier at that time, so with a couple of lovely insights to the whole time around Planet Zoo and Planet Coaster. If you're in for that, stick with me, this is gonna be fun, and I will hand you over now to the very much past Rudy of 4 years ago, so you can maybe enjoy this one together with my past self, and I'm gonna hand you over. Enjoy! Hello everyone and welcome to Sky Gardens episode number 1. Yes, it's indeed a new mini-series here on the channel, which is going to be like 5 to 7 episodes. I am quite safe that this will be around the same scale as my Arctic project. I really do hope that I get it done a little bit quicker than the Arctic project. So for those of you who are new to the channel, potentially, I did the exact same with the winter DLC, with the Arctic DLC of Planet Zoo. Back then I built a research center for the Arctic animals. So back then we had the, you know, let's call it polar bear gate, with the land requirement of the polar bear. So I decided to go for a very realistic approach and do something that is related to conservation of animals and having kind of a research project. This time around, it's the exact opposite. We are doing something that is a lot more unrealistic, however, hopefully a lot more cool. I'm going for a Sky Gardens. You've seen that from the thumbnail, so I'm not gonna talk too much around it. This is going to be a very much Marina Bay Sands inspired build that is definitely going to be located in the South of America instead of Asia. However, I wanted to build this for a while and I was lacking a lot of these glass pieces in the game, and now as we have them, it's not particularly part of the DLC, obviously. It's a free update with the glass pieces, but I thought it would totally make sense to kind of do it in a tropical vibe and make the garden, the rooftop garden, very tropical indeed. Now, from the thumbnail you have seen the building instead of an animal today, and I figured it was intelligent and clever to go the first days with actually some animals, and in today's episode I'm afraid there's no animal. So for those of you who are waiting for a habitat or an animal, it's not here. It's gonna be a full episode of wonderful design work and architecture work, and at the end of this episode, so very important bit, but I'm also gonna include the info in the description down below. At the end of this episode, we are going to have a little bit of a real-time part where I'm going to show you for once this building, but also I'm going to show you the buildings that you guys have sent in order to win a DLC code. So the lucky winner is named in the description, but I'm also going to read it out at the very end of this episode. A little cheeky hint, during the recording right now, it's Wednesday, it's not set yet, and so I cannot name the name now because I'm pre-recording the voiceover, but the real-time part will be done tomorrow once the winner is chosen. Now, the good thing is I have already had the chance to see some of your entries, and God, they are so good. God, guys, you just exceeded my expectations, and it's so gorgeous. You made so many cool buildings, and I'm gonna show you why exactly I wanted it, and I really hope that after the episode more people want to contribute. So I offer the chance for all who want to. You will get a dedication in the build. I'm gonna make like a very nice dedication area where I put all the names in of these people who contribute a building. Now the idea about this build is obviously a hotel that is in the center of it and is the star of the show, and the zoo is going to be on the rooftop, obviously, of this building. Now, to give this whole thing a context, I need buildings, okay? And this is also why I had this particular idea to say, hey, try to be inspired by Buenos Aires or Rio de Janeiro, because I thought this would be the logical choice here to go with, because these are the kind of the big cities I imagine where this could have been built in the South of America. I mean, obviously there are more than those two cities, but I just figured that these were the cool ones I wanted to go with. And so I hope that maybe even if there is no DLC to win as of now, maybe in the future again, but you still want to be part of it, and you can still send me your blueprints of skyscraper buildings, because I definitely will need a lot more than the ones that have entered, even though there were already quite a few that have entered. So I think I'm gonna need like 50 to 60 buildings in total to make this whole thing set and have a nice little background. So again, as I said, they don't need to be super detailed because they act like a little bit of a context, like a little bit of a background for the map, but they definitely are important to be here to give the whole thing the finishing touches later on. And I really hope that you guys are as excited for it as I am. Now, I really also want to talk a little bit about the design choice of this building. So, as I said, it is heavily inspired by the Marina Bay Sands Hotel. I'm just sorry for the little stop here. I was like, I don't know why exactly I'm confusing it all the time with the Marina Bay in Abu Dhabi. I think because I'm like an F1 fan, and this is kind of the cool hotel which the F1 teams are passing under, and this is always confusing. Effectively, this is the one in Singapore, which is the Marina Bay Sands. God, is that correct? This is the one that inspired it, but obviously I went for a lot of own design choices that make this building stand out a little bit more, and it does not really look exactly the same. I wanted to have this kind of roundish build to it in two ways, not only have it like have this roundish shape, this is tilt to the inside or to inward, so to say, that you have this curvy little element. I also let it curve to the side, so you do have this little bit of a bulb going inside of the building, and so it kind of makes the building appear a lot more narrow than it actually is, and it gets a little bit more bulky to the outside again. So it appears to be a lot thinner than it is, so it's not like, it's quite a hefty building, okay? It's gonna be very big and very insane, and also in the context of Planet Zoo and the sizes, it's still very big, but it's just exactly the size I needed it to be to make up for a realistic zoo on top and still maintain somewhat of a believable scale, which it totally isn't, but in the game it does kind of work. Obviously this would be something, I mean, it could be done in real life. I guess it would be done. I mean, ethically and morally, I don't really know who would decide to have a zoo on top of a building like that. I mean, security wise, this is at least questionable, I would argue, but I mean, in terms of doability, I think it's fair to say that this would be doable. But anyhow, it's just about the design choice here. I went for it, and I just want to make it because it's cool, and I thought if you guys are going to download it, it might be very exciting to check that out, and it's just like something to really nicely look at and be blown away by. I think that's the way I wanted it to be. That's the simple truth here, okay? I'm not gonna lie, this is exactly how it is. However, there are a few things about this building to notice, and this is it still does contain quite a lot of pieces already, simply because the copy-paste actions, and that is, you know, the repetitiveness in the patterns. I tried to cover them up enough by having these really interesting shapes, and what I also ended up is doing already quite a little bit of a rooftop piece here. You can see me doing this. Mainly I built this already to have a reference, and I figured actually some of the roof pieces worked pretty well, because you don't really need to make it like super roundish, because the whole build is so big that these roundish edges, almost like in a polygon builder, don't really they are not as obvious, because they are more or less like disappearing in the shadow of this building later on anyway. So you can see I just used a few more art pieces to the top to make it only to the top a little bit more roundish. That was the only decision I made, because I felt, okay, that was important. But you can see I made this little, I want to even call it like boat, but it's looking like a little bit like a boat. But yeah, you can see I made this to already have a reference how big and how wide I can make it, because again, we will in a few seconds fill some soil into that, and I needed it to be, yeah, well, quite big, so in order to make this like a size that we can work with, and we can also fill some water and stuff on top. And there's some really cool stuff coming in the future. So for those of you who are part of my live streams, they have already seen it quite a fair bit, and people were super excited about it. So I am also very excited what you guys are going to say. But yeah, we skipped a little bit forward in the build. I cut out a little bit of annoying terraforming, annoying testing and stuff. So I went ahead to a little bit of gardening work. I wanted to give this building already quite a little bit of a little park area in front of it. and using some of the new flowers to give it a bit of a tropical vibe, to have some plants already going on here and there, and yeah, I mean, it's just for the context. I might do at the end some tweaking here and there just to make it a bit more lush or less lush, however the buildings turn out to be. But yeah, just using some of the new pieces that are absolutely fantastic. As you can see, I was completely tripped by these wonderful new rock pieces. This was actually the first thing I built. Like, I didn't check out the animals first. I did definitely build this thing the first few hours after we got the DLC key delivered. By the way, I just wanted to take that little moment here again to thank Frontier, because obviously, as you guys have seen, we got this a little bit early on, and this time quite early, to be honest. We had quite a few days to play around with the game, and you know, it's always like a win-win situation when it works out this way. We can prepare some content for you guys, which is really cool, but it also is a win-win because we can figure out some of the bugs ahead of time and then play these infos back to Frontier, and so the game comes out in a way more polished way. And I want to stress this a little bit because as much as a developer is focusing on it and testing their asses off, and I wanna call it out the way it is, they're really working their asses off to make sure that the game is in the best possible state. But it's fair to say that no one at Frontier plays the game the way we play it, which is totally okay, because they have a job to do. Okay, so if they are developing a game 8.5 hours or 9 hours or 10 hours a day, I assume that they are not sitting down like we are and 4 to 5 hours in the evening build the game, design the game as we are doing it. So that would be absolutely ludicrous. That would be totally ridiculous. So effectively, they are somewhat relying on our feedback in general, because we, again, we are playing the game in a totally different way. I think none of the devs went in and built a building like I did here out of 1 million glass pieces, and then built on top like a huge level of soil and a huge level of terrain, and tried to fix it with some blueprints and put some rivers in there and try to make the water flow down, and used habitat pieces that have a physics that might even fall down this thing here, and they fall very far and they bounce back very far, and it's really funny, and maybe you see that in the next episode. What? Okay, never mind, we're not going to talk about that quite yet. But yeah, so they are not playing the game in this way, and so it's really cool element that we can always give them some feedback on it, and they can resolve it beforehand, and then the game comes out a lot more polished. That's really cool. I am a big fan of that, and also a big fan of this for games where I do not have early access. So I'm also following a lot of people playing Sims or all the other games, or I just got early access to City Skylines lately, so beforehand I was also always watching Flux, Sylph and so on when they had early access. So I'm a big fan of that, and it helps also to decide whether you want to get the updates or not, or the DLCs or not, because obviously today demos are not a thing anymore, so you can definitely, get out there, get some content creators you're following and get their opinion on that, and then upon that you just decide to get it or not. And I think that's a fair and cool thing to do. Now, enough about this, let's talk about a bit more what I did here. So I was giving also the lake a little bit of context. However, I just want to say that this is purely work in progress placeholder. It's just here to give me an idea of how big the area is and where the people come from and how to manage the guest flow, and all these kind of things are again only here to give it a bit of context. So there's by no means this is meant to be the final design. I just was at this point in time, I got carried away by the landscaping anyhow, so I just want to place down some trees, and as always I end up doing already too much for the moment. But yeah, so this is it for the commentary. The live commentary you will follow now in a real-time part, and I hope you enjoyed this first episode of Sky Gardens, and trust me if I say the next episode will be a lot about plants and cool habitat designs. It's gonna be awesome. I love this project already, and I hope you do too. So see you at the other side of the cut. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Sky Gardens. Welcome to episode number 2 of my little project for the South America DLC. I'm Rudy, and as always, today we are going to build a habitat for a capuchin monkey. So this is what you can expect from today's episode. It will be a time lapse around 15-16-ish minutes, and we are going to tackle this in a very detailed way. Now let me tell you, that was a huge struggle to get the animals where I wanted them to be, but there's a lot we can talk about in in terms of how the game actually works and what kind of things you need to keep in mind to make sure that your animals behave the way you want them to behave. Now, this thing over here, this time-lapse, is taken from my Twitch live stream that I had together with Shantae from Frontier Development. So in case you don't know who she is, Shantae Goodman is the community manager of Planet Coaster, actually, and she's in the team of Bo Marriage, who is the lead community manager for the Planet games, and also Jurassic World Evolution. And Shantae was in my stream together with me, checking out some of the things I built, and she gave a lot of cool insights about the game. So one thing they changed lately, and this is very important to notice, is the way how the traversable area is calculated. So every time you go into the game needs a few minutes to recalculate all the traversable area. But once this is done, the performance is a lot better because the animals do not constantly search for a huge change in the traversable area. That means also, when you are going to tackle the traversable area while you build, it always takes a while until they have resettled it. So what I'm doing is I'm pausing the game basically, I build some stuff and then I unpause the game, give it a bit of time until the animals have recalculated their traversable area, and boom, back to performance you are. So that's the easiest way of doing it. I have to say I like the change quite a bit because this change really helps improving the performance, because otherwise you always had these lag spikes where the animals were recalculating, but in fact if there is no need because you are just tackling some other stuff, so let's say in franchise, especially when you're just doing some management stuff, the animals don't need to check for new traversable area, because in a habitat where you don't do anything, there is no change in traversable area, so why take the computing power of your computer, right? So that is the main idea. Okay, now with that out of the way, let's talk about the idea behind this habitat over here. Now, as we are in Sky Gardens and we are on top of this huge hotel, and we are in an area which is a tad bit unrealistic anyways, but I'm just imagining that this might be a very, very expensive hotel which has been built exactly to have what we have, a Sky Gardens zoo. I wanted to make sure also that the animals absolutely stay safe inside this habitat. Now, with these capuchin monkeys, the main advantage is they are freaking small and they don't like to swim. So whatever you're gonna do, you do need some water to make sure that these animals do not jump over onto, which is in fact your barrier. As you can see, I'm doing that barrier over here, but I'm doing it in 2 steps. I have this temple piece in between, and then I have kind of a glass metal mixed little fencing so that the guests can watch through it, they can see through it and can see the animals, but still there is a distance between the water and them, mainly so that they don't climb into this habitat or whatever, and also the animals are not going to escape via this route by climbing the metal frame or whatever. So I kept it in a distance, and that kind of makes sure that we can also cover up these ugly edges. That was the second reason why I made this fence piece a little bit more thick than what I usually do. But yeah, it really turned out to be looking quite cool, and this is the roundish little temple piece, and it's totally at the other side of the jaguar habitat. So you're looking into the jaguar habitat, you turn around, you're looking into the capuchin monkey habitat. I mean, yes, it is kind of a big rooftop area, but it's not like gigantic, okay? So there is some kind of space that we need to fill in, but it's not that huge. So this is the reason why I decided to go for quite a small habitat. However, in the second episode, or actually of the second episode, it will be the third episode, we're going to opening that a little bit more up, and we bring in the giant anteater as well. So it's kind of a bit of a foreshadowing here, so you guys can already look forward to it in the future. There might be, as I said, also a revamp of the jaguar house in the future. I'm not quite sure if I put it in the third or in the fourth episode, you will see it, but they will all drop within the week. And then we have also the habitat of the giant anteater that's gonna be made, and we have a little restaurant area, so there's already quite a bit prepared. Now that's really good because it's my week in Kuali Zoo, which means that I don't have that much time to spend on other projects, which is always cool because it's always great to come back to Kuali. Now let's get back to this habitat. You can see that I am taking this time a lot more time than usually to look around and to figure out where I would put stuff. Now the reason why I do this is mainly I wanted to make sure that the animals use the climbing frames a lot. So I wanted to give them a lot of reasons to use the climbing frame. Now, in order to make this, you have to make sure to think about some things how the game work. Now, unfortunately, the animals do not use the climbing per se to fulfill their need. They use the climbing to get to a certain location. The reason why they do it is they are searching for the shortest way possible to their fulfillment of their need. So let's say they are thirsty, they are looking for the shortest way of getting to the water pond or to the little pipe you put them down. Now, if the climbing frame is the shortest way possible there, they are very likely to use this instead of just using the ground. Now, I was putting down a lot of pieces here to make sure that the ground level is a little bit of a zigzag course for them, like it's almost like a parkour. This is kind of cool because it increases the distance between point A and B. So the temple pieces are traversable per se, but since you change an elevation and you change the distance between those pieces, the distance between point A and B, which was a straight line before, is creating first of all an incline and also a left to right zigzag course. So that means when you put down a second course to get there, which is a boreal, which is in like on top, they will use this one because it's basically straight and leads them quicker to the target that they have. And in order to make sure that there are some targets, you must make sure that there are some things in place where the animals need to go. So as you can see, I put this forage pool in the very center of the habitat, just above the little pond. That means that whenever an animal needs to get there from the entrance of the habitat, it needs to go either completely around this pond or it has to go over the climbing frames. And guess what? They're using obviously the climbing frames quite a lot, and they use this very cool little item, and this is the window. They just climb through the window quite a bit. So I am a huge fan of that. I really do like how this turned out to be working. And here you can really see, while I have the little heat map on, you can really see how the ground is not flat blue, it's just having some gaps in between that increases the distance. And that is how you have to work in this game. You have to make sure that you give the animals the shortest distance to get to their things over these areas that you like them to go the most. That's kind of sounds simple, but it is more complicated than it sounds, because, well, the animals have a certain behavior and they are preferring certain things over others at certain times, which is again very confusing, because it's not like, you know, if they're thirsty they will always go to the same pipe. It seems almost like sometimes they like to drink from the pond and sometimes they just like to drink from the pipe. I don't know what exactly it is. Might have been a difference in if the water is not clean or whatever, but I'm not really sure if that's the case. But yeah, you can see I'm just connecting a lot of areas here with some ropes and just giving them some more climbing opportunities. And the important bit is that you put down, as you can see, I put this little fruit kind of enrichment item there in a location that they have several routes that are potentially having mostly the same distance. And I just thought, okay, let's give them some more stuff to walk there, because then they choose also to go there. And you can see at the end of the day it all works. And then I found that these guys were having a little party over here, and I decided, you know what, I want this forage thing to look a little bit more different, and I created them a little party area with a little shelter area to make sure that they go there even more often. I was checking some of the pieces until I found some suitable pieces here. You can see this is quite a funny idea, because one of the animals has been named Maggie B, and I made this fluffy. I'm finally happy that it is gone now after this very long playing session, but it's always funny to use that sheet. I like that sheet quite a bit. Yeah, I was using some of the fruits to put some stuff down, so it almost looks like they're eating from the fruits and not from the forage pool. I don't know, I just like the idea that they have some fruits there in as well. And then I thought, okay, let's give them some shade, because, you know, sitting there the whole time in full sunlight might not be the best for the animals. So I was about to say, let's use some stuff to give them some cool shade. And I found this Spanish moss, which is also coming new with the new DLC. Or is it free? I think it's free update even. It's really cool. You can create like nearly thatch roof looking things with it. And I just created that thing over here, as you can see, as a little shelter. They use it quite often, so I'm really happy about how this turned out as well, like a really cool little bit. And yeah, so one thing I really have to talk about as well is the usage of temple pieces. Now, obviously, this bit over here is fully man-made. It's not like a natural habitat in any means. I mean, you are on top of a hotel, and even though these temple pieces might look super realistic, and in the game they even might be stone, it is way more realistic to think that these things in this actual thing over here might not be stones, but some kind of lighter material that is also resistant, but still is very light, because again, this is built on top of a hotel, and you can see me even looking at where I placed this tree, because realistically the roots of the tree grow quite deep, so you need to make sure that you have an area of this hotel that has some kind of space where the roots can be growing. And honestly, even though it's not realistic, I wanted to try to keep it as realistic as possible, to not break too much of the illusion. Like, yeah, sure, this hotel isn't even bigger than what like the Marina Sands Bay, which it is based on, would ever be, but still I kind of can see that this looks cool and would work. And I mean, I think maybe if there is someone out there in the comments of you guys who is really good at static and building and architecture, he can tell me if that is possible or not. But I would say, like, with the knowledge we have as human beings and with the architectural skill we have, it would be possible to build something like that. I mean, it's not like cheap, it's not like easy, and it would potentially be pretty dangerous indeed, but I think it would be possible, wouldn't it? And you still would obviously look into making this whole rooftop area as light as possible. That said, using water and using stone pieces is not the best idea, so it's kind of, yeah, trying to make it realistic where we are in an area which is totally not realistic, but it's kind of the way I want to go anyways. It is the way I think it's the best to do it, and yeah, I just wanted to go for the idea. That's the full truth. I just, you know, but I don't want to go fully abroad and fully crazy on it. Now, the rest of this episode is mainly, yeah, making it more lush, at the same time maintaining some kind of good views for the guests, and some, yeah, just making it look as overgrown as it can be, while not hiding the animals away too much, because the animals are pretty small. That means the more foliage you put down to the ground, the more you hide the animals away. And even though it is kind of cool for the animals, it's not too cool for the guests. And yeah, so this is why we end up having a lot more blend areas where there only is some grass texture instead of having some actual foliage on the ground, mainly to have this. This zigzag course over here is fully cosmetical, even though sometimes the animals use it for whatever reason, because that is definitely not the shortest way possible they can use. So maybe, I don't know, maybe it is because they are fulfilling the need of climbing in that sense then. And again, you could potentially argue that since these little climbing pieces are very short for each piece, that they can fulfill the climbing need the quickest there, because the pieces are just very shortly after each other, and then after just going up and down, they fulfilled the need for the next 20 minutes. I really don't know how exactly that works. So yeah, you can see now how this turns out to be looking, but again, in comparison to my usual builds, this was a lot more trial and error than I usually have, mainly because I wanted to make sure that this building looks cool. And this is the last bit I was doing. I wanted to make a custom tree, which was using this wonderful new root piece. Like, the cool bit about this tree is they cannot climb it, since the root seems to be not climbable, and that means you can use this tree quite nicely to just give them some shade and not destroy too much of the views, because I could make it higher as the other trees while still maintaining a cool looking trunk. And that is the reason why I used this piece, and I just copied that around once because I found this so nice looking. And yeah, just making the habitat more lush at the same time. And yeah, looking at it from above, I can really tell that this might evolve to be one of my most favorite habitats to date, because it's so intricate, it's so detailed, and honestly the animals using it very nicely indeed. And yeah, it's just looking pretty cool, and it really fits the mood of this Sky Gardens location. And yeah, you guys can just tell me what you think about it, but I am fairly happy with how it turned out to be looking with all the overgrown stuff. I will try to make a real-time part, but I'm not sure if I do have a save of this state of the build. So if I do have, I'm gonna make a real-time part. If not, I'm just going to include some small cinematics at the end now, and that should be it for today's episode. I really hope that you guys enjoyed today's episode, and as always, I am always happy to see your feedback in the comments down below. As you know, that helps me out a lot, that helps the channel. So if you have something to talk about, make sure to drop it down in the comments down below, or you know, just say hi, just say good day, whatever. I always am happy about this. But now, stay safe, enjoy your Sunday, and we are going to see each other next week a lot of times with some more stuff on Sky Gardens and more to come. Have a good time, and goodbye everyone. Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 3 of Sky Gardens. Today we are going a little bit back in time. So if you've seen yesterday's episode, this was the second one where we built the capuchin monkey habitat. In case you haven't seen it, there's a little card for you on the top right now, so you can click and come back afterwards. Now today in this episode we're going to tackle this jaguar house, which has been mysteriously placed already here last time. But honestly, I just did this obviously prior and didn't record that, mainly because this has been already the build of the Jaguar house, so I did the modern Jaguar house as a one-off build, but I decided to bring this up here into the sky as one of the main attractions that people drive to go there. Now there have been a lot of issues here, and you can see me struggle a little bit with the pathing. Well, a little bit might be a bit of an understatement. That's the word I was looking for. The path game. So yeah, following on this, I figured that I need some changes on the Jaguar house, and you guys did give me a lot of feedback, and I left this first struggle in to really get into the episode. Now the biggest issue you guys figured out on this build was mainly the security on the front side of this habitat, and I'm gonna tackle this later on in this episode. First of all, we're going to look how I'm going to implement this into the Sky Gardens. There will be a bit of a backstage area that we build, and then in the later stages, as I said, there will be a bit of the wonderful area that is now in front of it, where we build a little cage, which is hugely inspired. I think it was Copenhagen Zoo, which I took the inspiration from, but I'm not entirely sure if it was that zoo. However, I had a specific inspiration that led me to do this, and yeah, here's me again thanking you guys that you gave me all these ideas and all these things as a little hint, because honestly, I tried my best to make it as realistic as possible, but at the end of the day, I went also a little bit with the views and, you know, making it as beautiful as I could. But at the end, I ended up doing it not as beautiful as it could be, just to make it more realistic. And that's actually what we're doing right up here in this wonderful area. You can see it's insanely crazy how much I struggled with the pathing. And eventually I ended it and I was like, hey, come on, I'm just going with it. And then basically I rewatched my speed build afterwards and I saw how many mistakes I made in here. But yeah, this leads again to the fact that I really hope that Frontier is somehow at some point really giving us the option to include pathing into the blueprints or the habitat builds, because it's always, you know, I try already to build as simple as possible with the path, but even me, who has done this himself, is having a huge struggle to build the pathings exactly how they're meant to be. Now, really, that is something that should not be, and I really hope that this can be fixed in the future. Now, the cool thing is that you can implement habitats in the way they are. You can even implement terrain, which is insane. But yeah, again, there is so much that needs to be changed. But hey, it is just for the better when we have at some point path. But till this day, we have to work with what we have, and that is obviously this over here. Now we are going to build the backstage area now for this little bit of yeah, it's not really backstage because it's still everything on the rooftop. But I still wanted to have a bit of an area where only staff members can go. Also, security-wise, this is going to hold you off the edges of that wonderful thing. I do still need to make sure that we have a certain security ring that goes around the Sky Garden Zoo. And here's me also again thanking you for all the feedback regarding the realism aspect of the Sky Gardens. You've sent me a lot of pictures of different projects that have been realized on rooftops of actual buildings in the real world, and I think I need to change my opinion a little bit. This project may well be very realistic indeed, if we got the money, and if we just assume there is the money to do this, which well, there is, and then we can definitely say this would be possible. I mean, the scale of it is just ridiculous, and I assume that this would potentially be done in Abu Dhabi or in Dubai. I think these are the two locations where I would totally guess that this could be done, and also money-wise, but also like project-wise. I think that would be the realistic location, and not like in South America, as I said, in Rio de Janeiro or Buenos Aires. But you know, you just find the right investor, and then the location does not really matter as long as the weather is doing it okay, which it would be there. So we can just assume that we found a very fortunate investor who is happy to help us out and give us the chance to build the Sky Zoo. Now, it's called Sky Gardens, obviously, so it's not only a zoo but also a garden, and we will tackling this in the next live stream. I was trying to think about so many different animals, and I think again you guys gave me enough ideas which kind of animals go here. So I definitely decided for going for some of the lemurs. We're definitely going to have the different other animals from the DLC in here. So the anteater, as I said, is already in. I will also look into the llamas, definitely. The bird's tapir will definitely be part of it. And also, as you guys mentioned, the giant Galapagos tortoise will also be part of it. And I think we are also already then coming to a certain limit. I think we are just having maybe one of the tigers up here. That would fit potentially also. I guess the Bengal tiger might be doing it. But yeah, that's about it. I know we're coming to what you've seen already in the last episode, or mainly you haven't really seen it. I have hidden it away nicely so that you haven't seen it too often. But I did do kind of a little infinity pool build, which I think was the most important thing to do, because that is just the one thing you did expect from a Sky Gardens. And we will have this feature a few times. I even thought about making one overhanging one, at least trying to do kind of to fake one. I think with the new glass pieces we could try to fake it by just bringing the whole thing as close as we can to the ground and to the border, and then we just build it from there with the glass pieces, and we just imitate the glass layer. I think that could work if I'm just doing a little bit of intelligent water work there and some water effects. That could very well be working, but we will see. Maybe it looks good, maybe it doesn't. We will see how this turns out, but I got an idea how this could be done. So yeah, that's just me already giving you a little bit of a hint what might be in the future. Now, as I've asked in yesterday's episode, if you like a bit more of a structure in an episode, I made myself some notes for today's episode because there's not that much happening. To be honest, it's just a revamp of the Jaguar house, which I think is very important. And here's me now talking about exactly what I meant. I just teased that at the beginning of this episode already. And it is mainly about one thing, and that is security of the jumping locations for the animals. Now, the animals are somewhat very, very good when it comes to jumping, and also in the game the cats do some majestic large jumps. I'm just fooling around here a little bit. Sometimes the jumps are a bit funky and a bit crazy, but well, in real life these animals can jump up to 5 meters, and it depends on how much the incline is and whatever, but they can jump pretty high. So indeed what you mentioned is that there is a certain problem for them to jump, with my habitat there is a problem because these animals cannot jump simply out of it in the game, but that doesn't mean they wouldn't be doing it in real life. And if we assume that this build should be also real life inspired, it's basically what we have. Now, before we actually do this, here's a little bit of a funky thing. We need to somehow connect this area to the actual ground level, and that's what's happening over here. I will definitely fake some elevators here. You can see these are the two connectors here, but and then we have the staircase of the death, or lethal staircase, if you will. So my guests do need a lot of good stamina, as you can see. This is very much the stairway to heaven. It's really crazy. You really have to take this staircase up because we don't have elevators in the game. But yeah, as I said, I will nicely hide them away, and then it almost looks like people are going into the elevator, and just when you go up, there will be people coming out of the elevator, and that looks kind of cool because it does give you the effect of an elevator later, but honestly, there is just this insane staircase afterwards. So yeah, it's crazy. But now let's go back to the actual habitat. I did already give you the explanation why I was doing it, and now let me just quickly do a break in my commentary. Well, actually you don't see the break, but I'm just going to quickly check where my inspiration actually came from. And here we go, it is the ever awesome Rotterdam Zoo, the Artis Royal Zoo in Rotterdam. Yeah, well, if you're watching the Lady Designer, you know that she is also taking huge inspiration from that zoo. I didn't know that this is actually the zoo I was getting the inspiration from, because mainly I have a folder with a lot of images from Zoo Chat, and most of the images are named by the zoo that the images are from, but these were unfortunately just named by the kind of photo file name. It was a kind of Canon photo that has been made, and it's like Canon 0170 blah blah blah, you know, and that's why I didn't know exactly what it was. I assumed it was Copenhagen, but it isn't. It is the Rotterdam Zoo. So very cool. Actually I've been there then, but maybe not when this has been already installed, so I think it's a more modern installation, which actually it looked like. So yeah, it's very cool. It has this slightly tilted and at the same time rounded big steel component where the nettings are hanging down from. Now obviously the netting, and this is again a point on my list here, the netting is the main issue I had. I did do some of the testing beforehand, so I was actually trying some things prior to the Jaguar house, and I was doing a lot with the ropes, and I was trying to make like a nice little rope net that goes across the habitat. But as you guys know, the ropes are now climbable in the game, and the animals can jump. And the funny thing is, like you can see this glass wall over here that divides the habitat from the pathway, and in the game as it is right now, the animals do not jump over. However, the moment you put a netting to this area, the animals will see that as climbable area, and for whatever reason, then they are able to jump there. So that was a little bit of a finicky thing. No matter where I put the netting, I always got into some weird problems with animal escaping, and then once I thought I figured it out, it changed again because the animals got too small, and the animals got, you know, got older and got smaller and got bigger, and different sizes matter in the game as well. And yeah, well, at the end of the day, when these animals have different sizes, that means they can jump higher or not as high, or if the animals are smaller, for example, they can reach areas that they couldn't reach prior, or I should say, which they cannot reach when they're older or bigger. Now, it really leads to a lot of issues in here, and I ended up with having no nettings and no structure at all for the sake of the looks of it rather than the realism aspect, because the netting just didn't work. And yes, I ended up again now with the steel mesh netting, which I make out of these iron fences, which is, I don't know, I gotta say though, it looks cool at the end, but it doesn't look realistic, you know. It has to be way thinner to work, and I cannot really work with the steel mesh fence of the game because I would need to put it there, and it kind of looks dull, and you would need to kind of build it in a weird way. So nothing really that fulfilled my desire to make a good looking, modern looking outside fencing, if you will. And I ended up now using this one because I feel like I am quite happy with how it looks. We go a bit more for the security and realism aspect of it, but at the end, I must say it's not my favorite by far because it does block so much of the view. You will see me now tackling this by deleting a lot of stuff and making sure that all looks nice and tidy, but yeah, it really doesn't look too good, I should say, but you will get a screenshot at the end so you can judge yourself. But this is what I did. I did a little revamp here. I made sure that this habitat looks good where it is right now, and I made sure that this is now a bit more of what you guys were commenting and a bit more realistic by having the netting. I'm really curious to hear what you guys think, and I think there's not that much more to say. It's just a short episode for today because the next one will be pretty packed again, but I wanted to really make sure that I have this little bit of change. By the way, for those of you with the eagle eyes, they have already seen that there is the other habitat already in here, so I made a little jump in terms of the progress. I made this first backstage area before I made the capuchin monkey house and then habitat, and now this is made after the capuchin monkey habitat, and yeah, you can see that. However, I hope you had a good episode, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in the next one as well. Until then, have a great time, stay safe everyone, and goodbye. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Sky Gardens episode number 4. If you're new to this project, this is a project where I built a zoo on top of a huge skyscraper. So this is where the name Sky Gardens come from, and we are already in the 4th episode where we are going to bring in the giant anteater. Now, this is going to be a very interesting episode, simply because I'm trying to get the giant anteater together with the capuchin monkey we did in the 2nd episode. Now, in case you haven't seen the 2nd episode yet, make sure to see that one as well, and also the 3rd one. I'm going to link them in the description. As always, there's the playlist, but you're going to see this now to the top right card as well. There is the episode number 2 of this habitat, because this is the first part of the habitat. Now, the reason why I wanted to give them together a go is basically because they do share an interspecies bonus, so that means these animals like to be together. However, I can already tell you that I might redo this and will separate the habitats again. Main reason is, for whatever reason, the capuchin monkey decides to run over to the other side. So here's my process of thinking. The idea was to build a shared habitat where on one side of the habitat is a huge focus on climbing, okay? So the one thing we already did in the 2nd episode is the capuchin monkey habitat with a lot of climbing frames, with a lot of enrichment items for the capuchin monkeys. So basically, there is no single need for those animals to go to the other side, because effectively there is nothing that should be of interest for these animals. However, the exact opposite should work for the giant anteater. Now, that was a good idea, I guess, but it didn't work. Now, it really is a problem, and I really hope that Frontier is going to investigate into that, because that simply cannot be. You know, these animals should be thriving for fulfillment of their needs. However, the animals just seem to go somewhere and then just decide to stay there. I cannot even tell what exactly is the idea behind this, why the animals go there. So like after an hour of playtime, it changed a little bit. So the animals slowly started to be in the area they are in, and the animals went back to the climbing. But it's, I don't know, it is really a bit weird. So I would have wished that the animals decide upon their requirements where to be in the habitat, and not just like, I think, randomized in the space. I really have no idea. There is no behavior I could see what exactly, just mirrored their behavior. And like I couldn't really see why and what they do because of which reason. It was solely random, I guess, which is a bit of a bummer, because I thought the animals were behaving pretty cool. At least they did in my other projects, and yeah, maybe because I never did a shared habitat, and potentially I shouldn't do this anytime soon again, because it just doesn't really work. Now, I think it's fair to say that, if you put that aside, the habitat still works pretty nicely indeed. So the keepers do their job on both sides of the habitat. It's really easy. They seem to have no issue at all to care for both animals. I really have, I thought it would be a bit harder, because the staff member has to go quite a bit around the building to be in the 2nd side of the habitat. But I think it's still okay. Now, again, the idea was to have a shared habitat which is connected by a little thin way at the back side of the habitat, which is not really directly in the vision of people and guests. So for the guests, it almost seems like 2 habitats, but I wanted to make it 1 habitat as for the staff members and for the animals, to make sure that they, at least the giant anteaters, have some more room, because they have some more requirement in terms of overall land space, so to say. But I didn't want to waste too much space of my overall given land on top of this skyscraper. So that's the main idea why I wanted to embed this into both areas. Now again, it really is a bummer that it didn't work out the way I hoped it would. I just leave it as it is for the moment, and I will try to figure out at the very end of the project how to exactly make this work, because in fact it should be very easy to just separate the 2 habitats again, just throw in a barrier in between and create a 2nd door. That's about it, and then both habitats are separated, because like, okay, the giant anteater will definitely complain a bit because it will have 2 less space then, but for the monkeys that should be better, because they finally get back to climbing. I don't know how exactly that could be solved, but I will try to give like a little bit of a forum feedback to Frontier to tackle this topic again, because again, I really think the game deserves so much more praise because of all the great stuff that has been done, but sometimes there's just this little extra mile that is missing, and I feel like this is exactly one of the best examples what we mean by the extra mile. Like, everything works, the game offers nearly unlimited creativity, which is incredible, and the animals, animations and stuff is always so incredibly nicely done. And then all of a sudden there is this little bit of a bummer here. You know, it would be so cool, let alone if they just do what they should do, and that's what I just said. I'm gonna repeat myself here, but it's just climbing where the climbing stuff is and just stay in that area just because the need of climbing is important and has to be filled. And yeah, obviously the animals are annoyed because if they're roaming around here in this area where our staff member is just filling in the termite little hills, you know, then it's yeah, it definitely should be a good area for the anteater and not for the monkeys. It's weird, but you can see already from the time lapse that there are always the monkeys roaming around. And funny enough, the giant anteater is only at the other side in the jungle, where basically there's no reason for them to be there because there's not a single enrichment item for them, there's not a single food source, and there's nothing basically that should be of interest from them. This is only the side to still make sure that they have some some space, and that's it. Maybe they like to swim, it's too hot, I don't know. It would be great to see exactly what the animals are up for and what they're doing and why they're doing it, to have a bit more control. But, you know, I just want to give, again, a big shout out again to Frontier, because they do tackle these things by giving feedback. So after a pretty significant overhaul of the staff member behavior, which works to a certain extent very, very nicely, at least for me, I have to say they do their jobs a lot better than before, like a lot better. I can just hope that they do the same for the animals in a kind of animal behavior overhaul soon in a free update, because that would be huge, because the behavior is great. I think it's just like, okay, if, you know, I'm a noob, I have no idea what exactly it is, but I gotta say that I think it might just be a value that needs to be changed, okay? So that they just prioritize, for example, climbing more, and then they just are more in the area where there is some climbing for them. I think that should be it. Or just like lower the value of being on a playing ground. I don't know how exactly that works, you know, I'm not a programmer. Maybe if you guys are programmers and you have an idea how that could work, let me know comments down below, because I'm always interested in that. Now, complaining aside, I am a huge fan of this habitat. We did this in a Twitch stream, which was a very fun stream, to be honest. I remember that this was the moment when a little Simsy did a huge raid on me, and god, that was incredible. And then we went over to build llamas with hats in the other park, and that was very fun with a lot of people in the chat, very dynamic, and it has been a lot of fun. So this is why I remember this so exactly, because I've been building a lot in the last couple weeks, so there's quite a lot of content. You guys, by the way, have been commenting a lot lately that there might be a bit too much content out here from my side, and this is simply to, well, you know, this is the situation given, and I'm not here to like say sorry for that, because the cool thing about YouTube is you can decide to watch it yourself or not. You know, it's totally up to you. If you don't have the time, you don't need to watch. That's absolutely up to you. That's totally fine. I just really enjoy doing these videos. But that said, you know that sometimes I'm talking about stuff, you know, views and stuff like that. Don't ever think this is because I hate it or whatever. Like, I do enjoy making videos a lot. This is why I do it. There hasn't been a single day in my, let's say, YouTube life where I have done a video even though I didn't enjoy it. It's not gonna happen, because it is my hobby. It's not my job, okay? So whenever I don't feel like making a video, I don't do it. I just don't make a video. I have the luxury of not doing it because it's not my job. And so you don't have to be worried at all if, you know, if you see a video, you can trust me that I am enjoying it. And I have to say, this is cool. I'm in a super fortunate situation. I have seen so many people always talking about their creative blocks and, you know, being in a creative down phase or whatever. Now, I think I can totally relate to this if you talk about this being your job and you have to push it out to give, you know, to make money and to, yeah, just survive, to feed your family, whatever. There is a certain difference in doing that as a hobby and doing this as your job. And I gotta say that my biggest fortune in terms of my YouTube stuff is that my creativity is fully displayed in the videos. So this is my outlet, this is my time living my creativity. You know, some people just do music, some people do paint or make some drawings, some other people do sing, whatever. This is their hobby. They do it because they have a certain requirement of doing that to be in a good mood, you know, to make sure that they are really feeling well. It's about their mental well-being. And this is exactly the same for me and YouTube. It might sound weird for some people, but I think this is mainly the reason why I am able to put out so many things related to a creative game. Some people, actually a lot of people commented lately that they are always amazed by how much I put out and how much creativity and stuff. But I think it's kind of unfair if you compare this to people that need to do it. Because again, as I just started my little rant over here, doing stuff for the sake of doing it is never gonna work out the same way as things that you do because you love it. And this totally goes into each other. Even though people who do it for a living love it, okay, they sometimes have this block simply because they must do it, okay? They are not given the time to relax. So for example, if I don't feel like recording, or if I don't feel like doing a video, I just watch a series. I just go out and play football. I just do whatever I want, okay? And there will be times where I'm not going to upload for a week or two because I don't need to. And that is kind of the fortunate situation I'm in. So for everyone out of you guys out there in the comments, don't ever worry about anything if I'm going to complain about stuff or talking about numbers or whatever. This is solely because it's my passion. I want to know stuff. And for those of you who don't know, and also sorry if this is going to be a bit off topic here, for those of you who don't know, I am working as a strategist in a digital environment for an advertising agency. And honestly, this is the main reason, because YouTube and doing YouTube for advertisers is my main job, okay? So this is the reason why I want to understand this always and ever and ever. And since some things don't really apply, that did apply in the past, you're always like, oh god, what is that now? So it's never about my personal problems or whatever. It's mainly my drive to understand things, okay? So surely sometimes there is a bit of frustration in there as well. I'm not gonna lie about this, but it's totally my personal passion, and that is kind of cool too, because I can always use the stuff I do here for my job, which is like a win-win situation. So that said, let's talk the last couple minutes about my build. So you can see that I'm now tackling the inner part of the stuff area. Now, I have to say that I am pretty impressed by how this turned out to be looking, mainly because this is, by the way, I just figured looking at this anteater because it didn't just want to go over. But I'm just very happy by how the habitat turned out on both sides. The new anteater habitat is very lush, very overgrown. It's kind of shady in there. We have this wonderful viewer platform which is slightly raised on the left hand side, and we have this bullseye viewing dots on the other side. So it's pretty cool. And then we have this backstage access with a fake door over here. You've seen me using the trash bins, as I always do it, because we do not have curbs yet. But so the people just take this narrow little opening in the middle. And yeah, so you can see this is how this area turned out, and I'm super happy. I hope you guys are too. Now, please let me know in the comments down below if you liked this episode, and as always, let me know if you have any feedback, and as always also, if you have anything else to add, please do so. Thank you, and goodbye. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Sky Gardens in episode number 5 already. Yeah, we are quite well in already into this wonderful new little series here. In case you don't know, this is a zoo on top of a huge hotel. So in case you haven't seen the first, second, third and fourth episode, where we've been tackling a jaguar house and a capuchin monkey habitat, I highly suggest to watch them. You will find a link to the top right now, as always, and we are now going into today's episode, which is the first episode that does not really contain an animal, even though you will potentially see some black panthers roaming around in the background or some capuchin monkeys at some point. Today we are only building a restaurant, a sky restaurant, so to say, almost like with a little bit of an infinity terrace. yeah, it's gonna be very exciting because I love the build. I love how this turned out in the end. It's been a fun little Twitch stream. Yes, I said it again. I don't know. Monetization disabled. I don't know what YouTube is doing now. I don't care too much, to be honest. But yeah, we were planning out a lot on the stream, and it was just a very laid back and relaxed stream. However, I want to take that opportunity to quickly advertise myself a little bit here. So on Monday evening, I am going to have a Planet Coaster live stream together with Bo. She's coming back, so to say, a little bit to the Planko vibes, and we're going to have a chilled, relaxed stream, and potentially you guys might get some DLCs if you are with us. So if you don't have anything else to do on Monday evening, consider jumping into my Twitch channel and yeah, just have fun enjoying a little bit of Planet Coaster with us. Now back to Planet Zoo. We are doing what we can do best. We are building in today's episode. As I said, we are going to make this little, yeah, I don't even want to call it restaurant. It's just like a little shop front over here. We are definitely going to make a real restaurant though, which is going to be located a little bit more centralized on this freaking huge skyscraper thing. But there will be also a little real-time part at the end where I'm going to explain a little bit more in detail what the exact plan for the future is, and hopefully you guys can still get some ideas in, because I still got a lot of your ideas. And yeah, the next episode will be quite a huge progress, because I said I don't want to make it too long of a series, so maximum 10 episodes. Now halfway through, we didn't do 50% of the build, so I just want to make sure that the next episode has a bit more progress in it, even though this progress in here is quite huge because it's super detailed. That kind of takes always your time as well. It really sucks the time, I have to say, building so detailed. And yes, as always, a live stream is always a little bit slower on the progress, so that's why there is a lot of footage also cut out, but don't worry about that, it's all fine. Okay, and yeah, also today marks an episode where I changed a little bit of my microphone settings again, microphone settings, I should pronounce that word correctly. You guys need to comment down below if it was a bit better. Well, I think the sound in general is pretty good, but I'm still working around to improve it even more, because I'm looking into making a bit more of some kind of podcasty stuff in the future, and therefore I want to get the system a little bit more secure in terms of my voice. I want to say, no, I just want to make sure that the sound quality is even better, because for me personally that's what matters most with you know, videos. The screen and video quality, like that what you see on screen might be a bit bad at times when you have bad frame rate or whatever, but nothing is as bad as very bad sound. So I'm always trying to investigate into this, which is a little bit tricky, to be honest, because my room over here is very open. I did already try to improve it with noise cancelling things here on my desk, but it's a lot like a very open room, and therefore we have a lot of hall going on. It's a lot of reflections of sound and stuff like that. So I'm always running the microphone as low as I can in terms of the gain. However, it kind of was a little bit of a finicky thing to do, because for whatever reason Windows always resets my microphone to 100% gain, which is kind of weird because I have no idea how to change it. Now I found a program now that changes it, at least for the default, and therefore it should be a lot better now, and you should hear way less sound distortions in the background. I do have to admit though that it was very subtle anyways. I believe that most of you might not have caught up on that in the past anyways, but I did hear that and it annoyed me, so I tried to improve this. Now let's talk about this area over here with my most famous word, the terrace. Again, you guys tried to help me last time how to pronounce that correctly. So people said it's more like terrace or terrace, but I still didn't get how to say that. So Google Translate tells me it's called terrace, but whatever, it's this thing where you can sit on, and in this time over here it's going to be an infinity design. Not necessarily completely infinity though, because it's not really overhanging, but the idea I think comes across that this one is going to be on top here, and if you're sitting on that, it almost looks like you are in the sky. So you look towards the horizon and you should not be able to see anything of the ground anymore. So that's kind of the idea about it. As the same goes for infinity pools in some hotels, so it's not necessarily infinity, but since it looks like and it seems like you do have this kind of wording. As you can see over here, I was trying to bring a little bit of a design tweak in, because I figured that the path layout looks a little bit like a leaf, And so I found the idea kind of nice to mimic a leaf structure over here. So yeah, we were testing a little bit of that, and it kind of worked. I was trying my best here with the pathing to avoid too many color distortions, to make it not as, yeah, I think it was a little bit loud over here. I want to call it loud. There were too many colors, too many patterns, too many different variants of the pathway. So I wanted to calm it down a little bit to make the overall atmosphere a bit more reduced, so that the leaf can actually shine a little bit. So as you can see, we were testing a whole bunch of textures to see which one works the best, and I think I ended up with the bamboo one, I guess. I'm not entirely sure which one I ended up with, to be honest. We will see this in real time, but again, I just changed that a few more times, so I'm not completely sure what exactly happened, but yeah. Now, as you can see, I needed to then finish off this area over here with some foliage. I wanted to make sure that this looks believable in a way, and so I made a little bit of an overhanging garden element. It's like almost like a little overhanging planter, mainly because, and as you can see, this is now happening over here, mainly to cover up this little ugly bit there. And I think this will happen quite a bit more often in this build, just to make sure that we do have a slightly more organic integration of these, yeah, edges, I guess. To be honest though, it's pretty dangerous, so I might consider to have like an overall like rope netting design that goes all across the whole build. But now again, this is again realism versus aesthetics, because the aesthetics of it will definitely be destroyed by putting that in. And I remember that Kane, for example, commented that on one of the latest episode of this whole build over here. He said that he didn't like the revamp of the Jaguar house, which is totally fair, because it looks definitely a lot more strange than with the clean version before. Now, the main reason for that is that you guys were asking so much for the realism aspect of that build that I could consider doing that, but it's quite often the struggle that a realism aspect mostly destroys some of your aesthetics, simply because there is something that needs to be in place in order to make it realistic, but you know, you haven't considered that in the design. So the best design is always when you already consider every aspect of the security from the very beginning and you embed that into the design, which I clearly didn't do, and that is the main reason why it turned out to be, you know, it actually looks like as we have added it later. And which is by no means, it's not a big issue at all. It's, I think, quite often in real life that happens, that things are just not considered from the beginning. And if I might add some examples, we Germans seem to be very good at that lately, whether it's been with airports or train stations. We do not consider things at the beginning and then they need to be added later, which delays the whole process quite a bit. Now, not getting too much into these topics, but honestly, it's quite something very common, that not everything has to be or can be considered at the very beginning. For example, as this little backstage area over there with the venting and stuff was definitely not considered from the beginning, because I needed to make this to hide away the ugly staircase that went a little bit too far and so was poking out of the building. I want to make it clean, and before I had the whole struggle with the pathing again, I just decided to cover it up. And sometimes these things are one of my favorite things in the whole game, because these things make you become creative and make you they force you to rethink some stuff in a totally different way in order to come up with a solution for the problem. And this is something I am enjoying the most with these creative games. It kind of trains you in a way of finding solutions for a given problem in a creative way, and I think this is something that humankind is very good at when it comes to playfulness. Like, games and playing games in general helps to become more creative and find creative solutions. So this is why I'm a huge fan of that in general. I think it helps a bunch that, you know, you just try different things, and in an environment of a game. And sorry, I'm just going a bit more off topic again, but we are, well, it's hard to find topics of what we build, because the next thing will be just a modern staircase design that rounds off this area. However, back to my little off topic. Now, I think it's really cool that these creative games give you the space and the environment to test different things, because honestly, these designs I'm doing over here, they are all possible because that's just a game, okay? I can always get away with the excuse that this is a game. I can build a freaking zoo on top of a hotel just because because it works. It's no one tells me that it doesn't work, okay? So I can just do it, and it's fine to build in as much as possible the realism aspect, but at the end of the day, this is what you do. You build a zoo in the sky, and you just try to come up with solutions that would be there if you would do it. So it's kind of cool because, again, you wouldn't do that in real life without any training in advance, okay? No one would be there like, hey, let's just build a zoo on top of a hotel without having anything at the beginning. Well, some people would do it potentially, but they would fail hard. So it's kind of cool to have this creative environment of doing it. And there we have, by the way, the random panther, as I said. I'm just checking the age in between because I kept the game running and made sure that the animal is not dying. That was the main reason why I was always checking it. But yeah. We are getting to the very end of the time lapse, I guess already it is. Well, there's a few more minutes of time lapse left, so I'm taking these few more minutes off now. Like, I'm just taking a little break here because, again, this is just designing this area, but I really want to have this little real-time part at the end. I don't want to talk too much about it as of now because then there would be there wouldn't be anything left for the last couple of minutes. And so I am now leaving you alone with a little bit more music, and I really hope that I will think of upping the volume before I edit this video, because last time I forgot that. I'm so sorry for that. Normally when I stop having my voiceover, I do see it in the file, and then there's automatically a kind of increase in sound of the music, but sometimes in my old files I forgot to set that, so this is why lately I forgot about this. So it shouldn't be an issue now. I will now try to up the volume for you, and then we see each other in like 3-ish minutes in the real-time part, and I really hope that you are as excited as I am for the next upcoming things in this Sky Gardens, but let's talk more about that in the real-time part. See you after the few minutes. Hello everyone, and welcome to the next episode of Sky Gardens. We are already in episode number 6, and today's build of the Komodo dragon habitat is going to be very interesting because it basically sets sails for the next couple of episodes, which are hopefully filling up this terrace even more. And I really want to say that you guys are still kind of asked and kind of open, hopefully, to bring in more of the blueprints for the other skyscrapers that are in the environment, because that's what I will need in the last episode, which is then finishing up this all, and you will all get your little you know, it's almost like a memorial that I'm going to bring in of all the people that contributed a skyscraper. They will get something on the Sky Gardens I'm going to do in the next episode. It's going to be very cool. I figured a way of doing something really nice, and I will show this in the real-time part of today's episode, which will be in the end, because actually the time-lapse is quite short, I must say, mainly because I did a bit of off-screen work where I didn't record, for once because I forgot at the beginning, but also I was just in such a flow. I put the music on, and when I figured I didn't record, I was like, okay, come on, just screw it, just finish it up before you record again to make sure that this is all nice and set up. And I think it's fine, because that's how it is sometimes, and the progress is really cool, it's really great. And to be honest, there was such a mess going on while building, it would have been a very weird time-lapse indeed. Now I'm happy that I did not even have to cut it out, because it didn't exist as a time-lapse, so that was a kind of a win-win situation. And you still have a decent length in today's episode, mainly, well, because I'm just going to have this little real-time part at the end, where we are also going to talk about the next episode. So in case you are always looking forward to what's up next, make sure to check the real-time part at the end, because that's where we are going to talk about this. Anyways, let's talk a little bit about what this habitats idea is about, and my thinking behind this. Now, the main idea with the Komodo dragon was to have a bit more of an open field, which is not as overgrown as the other habitats we've done so far, because the Komodo dragon is actually living in a little bit more open spaces, some more rocky environment, and you know, very close to the sea, and you know, they have some water actually where they're swimming. To be fair, this one over here, this habitat is, you know, just meeting the requirements of the in-game animal, and you know, this might be one of these single elements in the single animals in the game, I should say, that potentially have actually a way too low land requirement, if you ask me. So some of the animals have a huge requirement. If you take, for example, the jaguars. Jaguars have a insanely big requirement from the game, like a minimum requirement. But in fact, they kind of seem even to be lost if you go for a big habitat for the jaguars. While the Komodo dragons, they have a fairly small requirement, if you ask me, in comparison to what they have in real life, and how they would be moving, and sometimes they're just even like running and swimming quite a bit in the habitats. And so I knew that this one over here is potentially one of the most animal unfriendly versions I will need to do, because I want to somehow save the space on the Sky Garden. So I'm fully aware of the fact that this is not really the best habitat at all. Like, in my imagination though, this whole entrance building over here would give them some indoor space on a lower level. I think this is just kind of what we need, and I'm fully aware of that it would also be necessary in a real life scenario, because that is way too small. But I could actually think that, you know, one level lower in the actual hotel, there could also be like an indoor area where you have some heaters and stuff to give them some privacy land to relax, which I in fact didn't build, but just this was my idea behind this, so I could just kind of justify why this is a bit smaller. Now, as I said, it's just meeting the in-game requirements of land, so the animal would not be unhappy with the welfare turned on, but it's not necessarily like the most happy animal in the world, so that's kind of it. And yeah, what I was doing then with the building, and that was part of the habitat idea, is that I wanted to integrate that into the entrance building of this Sky Gardens area. Now, I'm still not fully aware of if I want to only have this entrance, or if I may even do a second entrance on one of the other big pillars of the hotel. I might just keep the one entrance here though, to make sure that people spread across the area nicely and go to the left and to the right. So I will talk a bit more about the layout in the real-time part at the end, because it's easier while showing it. But yeah, I wanted to make this entrance building quite nicely as a little bit of an eye catcher, and to make this one also go a bit higher, have a nice little roof design which is a bit catchy and which has a little bit of a sail appeal to it. I wanted to make like a little bit of a sun sail appeal, which is is going to be also seen in some of the viewing platform elements that are across the road on the other side of the habitat, just to make sure that there is a little bit of a style element ongoing in this area. And we already have some kind of sail appeal with the viewing platform towards the giant anteater. Now I wanted to kind of carry that through and just to, you know, not bring in too many different styles. So in general, the building style I'm going for here is very modernistic, some Bauhaus influence, but I just wanted to make also clear that this is just some modernism and some, you know, using a lot of concrete paired with some graphite tones and some plaster, and just kind of keeping that and enriching basically this little design with a lot of planters, rooftop gardens, and just some metal, just in terms of making this really go in line with the overall hotel design. So I'm not necessarily going with any kind of Asian or South American inspired build. It should just be like a modernist hotel design. This is basically the whole idea about it, and so I want to kind of make all the habitats go in line with this design idea. And as you can see, I'm always using some muted tones, some grayish. Sometimes I'm gonna add, like, it's not like necessarily completely gray. So for you, maybe as a little hint, if you do color work in Planet Zoo or general in these kind of games, it's very important to know a little bit about the colors themselves. So gray is not always like fully white black scale. Now, if you are doing gray, please make sure to use also a very subtle color in it. Now, if you want to go for a very cooled down gray tone, which is most likely used in backstage areas and in kind of these areas where you really want to make sure it's only like a very desaturated gray, make sure to bring in a little bit of blue, because blue is cooling the color down quite significantly, and it makes the color look a bit more as you want to have it for indoor areas and stuff. So it casts the light a bit nicer. It makes it all a bit more toned down in terms of really getting this modern, clean vibe to it. However, if you are going to be outside in a more sunny area and you want to make like a warm concrete wall feel, like something that is really, that you would feel is in an area where you use the concrete also to be seen in a very modern build that wants to give the build like a little bit of character, make sure to use a bit of yellow in it, because the yellow tones it up a little bit and makes it a bit more warmer. And then you can also go, when you want to have it really warm and really go together with some, you know, let's say for example, if you put it together with some warm colors, let's say some red and purple and stuff like that. So for example, for Indian builds, or for South American builds even, make sure to bring in some orange red tones, and I'm really talking of very, very subtle. Okay, so if you go to the color scale, make sure that you go all the way to the left and then just find your way, slowly moving the little arrow to the right hand side. Make sure to choose the color like orange, red, blue, however what you want to do, and then just slightly move it over, and you will see there is a noticeable difference in there that makes the whole thing appeal a lot more nice and a bit more, yeah, for actually the purpose you want to use it for. So that's the main idea behind that. As you can see, I am doing the same here with basically all the different elements, which you can see is using the normal concrete pieces over here. I basically cannot recolor them, so I'm just adjusting the plaster pieces to this tone. And the in-game concrete has a bit of a slightly yellowish tint to it, so you want to have like a bit of yellow in it. That's how the in-game thing is. I remember that in Planko we had also the normal concrete one had a lot of yellow influence. However, the smooth concrete pieces had a lot of bluish influence to them. So this is how you can adjust the plaster pieces to concrete, just as a little excursion here if you are interested. Now, yeah, you can see I'm already doing some kind of detailing. You missed out on a lot of basic build, I want to say, because as I said, I did this off screen and made this really aligned to everything. We are already doing the planters, and obviously what I also did is a little staircase out of 3 meter path, and I did exclude all of that because that was a huge struggle to achieve. As you know, there is this little trick to get 3 meter path done. And yeah, it's kind of a nightmare to do. But yeah, you can see also putting some little details in for the vibe, just some ambient speakers where you have some music, put down some seating elements. I do have to say though that I might just want to add a bit of more shade even to the terrace over here, terrace, that's the word, because I felt it might be a little bit too much in the sun. However, I'm just kind of, you know, trying to get the right feel of it. That's mainly what I want to do. So I'm not really too concerned that it's too much in the sun, but potentially it is. So, you know. Anyways, let's head over into the real-time part now and talk about what I've done so far. Alright, so here we go. We are now in the boxed outside the habitat for too long. Oh, well, I know what that was. Move, and now where's the trade center? There you go. Go back. I did a little testing in the background. Okay, never mind. Now, this is going to be the full area in the next episode of the Sky Terrace in the middle part. So the middle pillar is nearly done. Now I'm going to explain a little bit what I did first before we then talk about the overall layout and the overall next additions, because I definitely need your opinion on that and also your help, as I already stressed at the beginning of today's episode. Now you can see a bit more in detail now what I did. This is just a little open area. We might be able to put some more plants in, cover up this ugly backstage staff path. This is, as I just mentioned a few seconds ago, this is the 3-meter path for people to go up. Well, as you can see, guests are using it, and I just found this better because it fits this area a lot more with the 3-meter path instead of just going for a 4-meter, which would be too wide, and I think just saving some space here is really badly needed. Now we do have this roof design over here, as I said, where we have a lot of these tuned down colors. This is again the tiny bit more warm grayish color. Let's just move this glass piece quickly in because that should not stitch out there. Good. Now we also went for a bit of a design over here. I did off screen, and also I did, as you can see, the preparation of this habitat we're going to talk about in a second. But yeah, we also have the sun sail design, which mimics a bit what is on top here. So that one is kind of carried through over here, and we do have these sun sails in here as well. And this building over here has some kind of the shapes in the oval design as well. Yeah, this leaf is something different, but I think it all fits together really well already. And I think it's good to say we have 6 episodes that filled in that, considering that the first episode was mainly building the fooder, so to say, so the hotel itself. I might want to say that it is kind of realistic to end this whole thing in the next 4 episodes, that we have 10 as the final episode, and maybe just make a tour as a 11th one. That's the one you want to say. Now, yeah, as I said, for the layout, I wanted to make this layout really flowing, okay, so that you can just go on the one hand side and just return on the other side and maybe have some connections in the middle. Now, I think, and this is where I need your help, I'm not really stuck. I have some ideas in my mind, but just to finish off this area, I thought it would be cool to have some kind of, well, 10 meters might be a bit too much. Let's go down to 8, just give it a bit of a more narrow appeal, and just have a little bit of a roundabout like this. To carry through the idea of the tour. So we might have the chance to have some bigger habitats on this side and on this side, and maybe have a final habitat that uses this space over here, which somehow has to be integrated in a corner building. I'm not really sure how that should go, but I wanted to have like a building on both sides to kind of give a bit of weight to both sides, so that it kind of doesn't look like too much weight to the right hand side or to the left hand side. So maybe if we kind of make a building, this could be an inside habitat for an animal that potentially needs a bit more shade, while the other ones can still be on the outside. Now, as for the animals, I already decided to go in. What's going on here? Box outside of the habitat for too long? Wait, but I just did send you back. I don't know why you're not taken back. Wait, where are you? No, this is not my, this is actually my animal tab. Wow, Jesus. Okay, so this is Jessica. She's in trade center. So what is that? Like, you're not. She definitely is not. I saw that. Okay, it might be just a little bug. But yeah, so now as we will also have a look at this habitat in a second, but this habitat over here is already planned to be for the birds tapir. Now I wanted to integrate this into that habitat over here, but for some reasons, as we talked quite a bit about this in the last episodes, I cannot really integrate that because I would not be able to bring the keeper over to this side. And as soon as I connect this with that habitat via a bridge, for example, this bridge would also be traversable by the giant anteater and the capuchin monkeys, which is kind of shitty because then they will go into this area as well, and I want them to stay in here. So yeah, I would have loved to just open it up down here, you know, just open the glass up and just make sure that only the anteaters can swim over and only the bird's tapir can swim over, and then just give some kind of access for the staff members on this side. But since we only can have one gate, it's not gonna work, and it's a bit of a pity because it would be cool to have all three animals in one gigantic habitat that is connected by this stream of water. Now, as this is not possible, I will make this habitat solely for the bird's tapir and kind of just imagine that this is a connection and they could be swimming over. In fact, they can, but I mean, that's how it is. So that's gonna be the bird's tapir. And then on this side over here, we have, this is where I will bring in the dedication for you guys, but this whole area will be a bit of a garden. I'm even thinking to follow this path down here a bit more and like make an overhanging viewpoint on this side, so kind of mimicking this terrace here, bring that over to the other side, and then that's gonna be the peafowl habitat. And by using the elephant grass, I can make this really like a habitat for the peafowl where it's roaming around all this area without a major issue. Yes, we will have a pretty crowded area indeed, so I will give them some privacy shelters somehow. Not too sure how I do it. And this will be like the memorial garden over here, where I'm going to put down some cool little things where you guys can check your names. And this is why you guys need to still send me in your skyscrapers. That will be, as I said, filled around this whole area. Now, look at that, the lots. But I think the draw distance of the piece is kind of cool. So I want to fill in this frame later, you know. I just want to have like a bit of a city vibe here and there. I can definitely copy some buildings and just make them appear to be more than they actually are. But I think I need some solid 30 to 50 skyscrapers to make this like a believable area. And I already have like 10-ish from you guys, 10-ish, 15-ish. So it would be huge if you can still send in some skyscraper designs. As I said, they don't have to be like completely crazy, just some simple skyscrapers that would fit a city like Rio de Janeiro, as I said, or Buenos Aires. So that's where you can get your inspiration from, just to make sure that we add a little bit of context in the end. Okay, so that is the idea. And then I'm also putting, like, my idea is to throw all these little spawn points inside of the hotel, so that actually the whole city is moving. And I'm also thinking of integrating some of the rides into here, so that we have some cars moving around. I think that would be funny as well, to just have some cars driving around the city, even though these are just the safari cars, but so we have some movement. Well, but anyways, that's kind of talk of the future. And now let's have a last look. I love how the janitor is just like cleaning up the, by the way, it's just like kind of throwing it down from here and then whatever, I don't want to even know it. But yeah, so this is the Komodo dragon habitat. I'm just kind of a little fan of this habitat. I don't know, it has the kind of dune style over here, where the dragon has to go up and then can go for a swim. And it has some little bunkers here to go down in, has some shade, it can go back into the little area to sleep. It has some enrichment items in here. So yeah, I think it's quite a cool combination of a very, very open habitat, but it still has some privacy areas to go into. You have this wonderful area to watch the whole thing over here from these benches. You can just chill down and relax and have a look what this dragon is about to do. And well, it's actually, oh no, it's moving now. It's moving. It's running towards the food. See, I love it. The animation of these things is really great. Really, really great. I really love it. Okay, I mean, obviously they were pretty hungry, it seems. Yum, 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 yum. Yeah, get a lovely big bite of meat. That is awesome. Just get your lovely meat. Okay, never mind. So this is, as I said, this is the Komodo dragon habitat. I'm quite happy with it. Again, there will be the peafowl and there will be the bird's tapir. This is what we do next episode. Maybe I'm even adding one more animal. And here's now my question. So there were so many great ideas about which type of animals we want to get up here. And as I said, some of them are being realized already. So for example, Komodo dragon was a big request. Now we have, so the idea is we could have some orangutans up on here. However, I think I want to make sure that we do some animals I haven't done so often lately. So what we could bring in here as well. I'm going to make some suggestions and you need to tell me how you like it. So as for the animals I haven't done in a while, we could make like a really nice red ruffed lemur habitat as well. I think that would fit nicely in. We could also go and do some work with the mandrill. Mandrill is something I could imagine doing. Now, if we go further down here, peafowl is going to be added. We could also have flamingos, but I'm not sure if I want them. Now, we will also add some of the tortoise because they're pretty small. That's simply easy to add. Now, again, I'm not really sure which ones. We could also do the bonobo if you guys are fine with that. And yeah, I think that's mainly about it. And now I just need your recommendation of what you think we could also add in here and which different species you see potentially being added over here in this area, especially, and that is my request, especially what could go in here. So that is for me the most relevant question, what goes into this back area here, because again, I need some kind of building style which yeah, guarantees some shade, but also makes like an indoor habitat possible. Maybe another big cat, maybe Bengal tiger, maybe, I don't know. So yeah, just let me know in the comments down below and we will decide upon that what we do in the next episodes. Hello and welcome back to Sky Gardens. Hello everyone and happy Friday to you guys. If you are new to this project, this is my Sky Gardens project where we are building a zoo on top of a gigantic skyscraper. In order to follow this series, I am gonna put a link to the top right now so you can follow from the first episode, because this is already episode number 7, and in today's episode we're going to add the bird's tape here. Now, for those people who are following me, they know that this animal has quite a story, especially with my channel and with me. So it is the master race, the most important animal of the game. And to ensure that this one has a beautiful habitat, this whole episode will be dedicated to their enclosure. Now, or I should say habitat, right? Enclosure is always like such a bad word, but honestly, I remember at the very beginning that, you know, people were a bit like, hey, just call it exhibit or like a habitat and not enclosure, because enclosure is kind of, you know, the word for captivity. But I don't know, I just found that many people still use enclosure and don't really have a negative meaning with it. So let me know in the comments down below what you think, what's your most go-to word to use in order to describe the area where an animal lives in a zoo. I mean, you know, we are talking about a zoo, so that is basically the enclosure then, because it is definitely in captivity. I mean, in order to avoid that, you must need to build like a conservation area or whatever. So that would be the one thing that I wanted to quickly ask you guys, because I was a bit confused lately. I was thinking about it again and I kind of learned to use the word habitat, or at least exhibit. But yeah, so this is what it is. Now we are starting off with a little fence design, and this fence design is something that kind of guides us through today's episode. It's a little bit of a modern art style, or modernistic art style, just in order to make sure that these people walking over on the right hand side of this habitat here are not really looking into the bird's tapir habitat at this point. I really wanted to give them the privacy they need at this point in time, and I wanted to force people to look to the right hand side, which in fact is the capuchin monkey and the giant anteater habitat. And yeah, it's really like, I do like this design quite a bit because it is very simple. It doesn't have that many pieces, and you will see in the end when we put some foliage in that it will become something really cool looking, and it really fits the style over here. And I just wanted to make sure that we have something that doesn't really look like a boring metal fence, but something that is really looking nice and yeah, some kind of not tidy, but you know, a bit overgrown, as if it would fit in here and people just not throwing their stuff in here into this habitat. And that was the main idea, also for the keepers to be able to go in and have some, you know, some calm time feeding the animals and bring some stuff in. And yeah, as you can see, I was just really carefully placing these kind of foliage pieces over here. I think it's a crowberry bush, and I think this piece is one of my most favorite pieces in the game, because it's a really cool greenery that you can use basically to make everything you want in terms of ground cover, wall cover, or like even roof cover, because it's pretty thin, yet has a wonderful green tint to it. So it's kind of a cool piece. It's like a very generic greenery piece that you can use all over the place. So I really encourage you guys to use that a bit more often because it's really cool. Now, yeah, let's talk about what is happening in this episode anyways, because you can see this is the bird's tapir area, and it's a very long tunnel-ish habitat. The reason for that is obviously we don't have that much space on the skyscraper, and I wanted to make sure that we maximize the space given. I must add though that even in terms of the requirements of this game, the animal has enough, like way enough stuff. So we even have the we even have enough water for them. We even have enough land area, and so that's kind of surprising, but I mean, I take it. I would have even taken it if it's a bit slightly less, like for the Komodo, for example, we don't have that much. But yeah, so there's a little bit of a thing going on in the game, and I think this Frontier actually tackled this already in a forum post. So it takes a while until your animals really start moving in the habitat, and I think it is really down to the way the game now calculates the overall traversable area, and therefore I really encourage you guys as well to bring in your animals as early as you can into your habitats. As you can see, I was really putting them down very early on, and there you saw it. One of the two animals were just starting to move over, but then they stopped again because I was still placing stuff down. But if you want to make sure that your animals keep moving quickly, you want to really bring them in at the very beginning, because that is where it all starts, and when the animal starts to learn what the habitat is about. And at a certain point, they really start moving around, and the one is already done. The other one got stuck over here, as you can see. I needed to remove it from the non-traversable area where it got for some reason, but yeah. Now it really kind of developed quickly, I have to say. We did this in a live stream, by the way. So for those of you who don't know, I am really, at the moment, I gotta say, I'm really on a regular basis live streaming on Twitch. So in order you want to catch me playing Planet Zoo, I highly recommend to come there. And yeah, just enjoy the game with us, because it's always a little bit of a funny chat going on, and always very interesting, because we basically, I think in every live stream so far, we solved a little bit of a riddle of Planet Zoo. We always found out something new. People in the chat always reporting their experiences, and then, yeah, you know, every now and then we just test some things. So in order to make sure that you guys are not, you know, always kind of annoyed by it from what is happening in the live stream, I always cut it out, and it's always fun to be there and just, you know, enjoy the time. So if you wanna be part of it, just make sure to jump into the description. There's the link to Twitch. Give me a follow over there, and then next time you'll be notified when I'm going live. And yeah, I think for this week, it's about it. I think maybe on the weekend, if I do it spontaneously. If not, on Monday again, I definitely gonna do a live stream. So that's gonna be very cool, and I'm really looking forward to that again. And yeah, we still have enough projects to play. So last time we did Sky Gardens, potentially next time again. The main reason is that in Germany at the moment, the overall regulations, because of this very special time, they are going to be loosened quite a bit. So we have a lot more possibilities from Monday on. A lot of things open up. For example, zoos and museums and parks and playgrounds and stuff. Everything's open again. Obviously, you need to follow some instructions, but honestly, they are not as heavy as, you know, as it would kind of make you not enjoy it. So it's really cool, and you can actually do a lot of stuff again. I definitely want to go to the zoo soon again, but that also means that, you know, it definitely is less time for the channel. And also in 2 weeks time, the home office will be removed, so to say, again. We slowly will be getting back into the agency. We will do it in groups, I guess, as far as I understood, but that also means that I will have less time to cut the episodes, because just in case you're interested, follow me for the next couple of minutes before we talk again about the habitat. But normally I only have time from like 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. in the morning when I do my YouTube stuff, and that includes everything. It includes playing, cutting, commenting, everything you can imagine is done in these 3 hours. And as you can imagine, that's not as much time as you would need to really do the amount of stuff I do at the moment. So having home office really enables me to do more, because I can do the cutting basically during my work time, because cutting doesn't take any time. It just is the time that the file renders and my computer runs. And I can do this next to my job because I've got my MacBook, and so I can just keep it on my Windows to leave the file rendering, and I just need every now and then a few minutes to just bring it in and press play. So it's really handy. And the same goes for very annoying stuff like reading and stuff like that. I can really always leave this running next to my job, and this is kind of cool because it doesn't affect my job at all, and I still can do a lot more, and so I can really focus in the evening on playing the game and creating content, if you will. So that's really cool, but this will definitely be taken away again in a few weeks time, and so long story short, I will need to finish this project as soon as I can, because I definitely will not be able to maintain 3 different projects at the same time while having to travel to work again, because that's again another fact. Like as soon as I need to go to work again, I will definitely stuck in traffic jam for like over 1.5 hours a day, which at the moment I don't have. So again, 1.5 hours that are basically handed to me for free, and that is kind of stuff that you definitely will, yeah, well, it will be lost. So 1.5 hours per day will be gone, standing on the street and creating some bad air in the environment, right? So this is what we will do again. That's life, I guess. But yeah. Now this is just a story about why I want to focus on finishing this project rather soon, and also releasing it to the workshop. That said, here's me reminding you of the fact that I'm still needing a lot of blueprints for the Skyscraper. So therefore I created a new little thread, a temporary thread in my Discord channel, where you can put in all the blueprints to your skyscrapers. Again, just as a little explanation, I am building a little city around this huge skyscraper to give a bit of context, and I will include your blueprints to do so, and I will need you to send me some blueprints of skyscrapers. They can be looking like whatever you want them to look like. My own little rule was that I said, okay, it must be something that goes in line with like Rio de Janeiro or Buenos Aires, so something like South American big cities, you know, that kind of metropoles in South America. That is about the idea. And yeah, I just really would love to incorporate your designs, because I will, the next episode will be focusing on the little dedication area. It's going to be a peafowl garden with a lot of little dedication stones, I want to call them, where every single one of you will be put down to. For those of you who contributed some blueprints, I will put your names down to these things before I release this thing. So that's going to be really cool, and I really hope that you guys are I just still sending in some designs of the skyscrapers. Again, I will make a little thread in the Discord channel, and then you will be able to yeah, just drop the Steam workshop link in there and potentially see this in the last episode in this park or in this zoo. That's gonna be very cool, and I'm really looking forward to it. Now, as we approach already the last third of today's episode, you can see the habitat is mainly done. We are now building a little bridge design over here, because that was the last thing that was not done to connect these two areas. This is the bridge that leads over to the jaguar habitat and the jaguar house. And on the left hand side, while you travel towards the jaguar house, you will have the capuchin monkey habitat, or the capuchin, whatever. I just recently told you guys that I knew someone was commenting in my videos and also in the live stream that it is capuchin, like chin, but there's still, I just watched a lot of documentations now, or documentaries about these monkeys in order to understand how they pronounce the name, and everyone pronounces them in a different way. So our fellow friend Edinburgh, he is calling them capuchin monkeys, like really quickly capuchin, in order to, you know, he's focusing on the word capu. And other people, like from modern zoo kind of things, they call them capuchin monkeys, and some others say capuchin. So it's really weird. Like there's no common belief, I guess, or like no common understanding of how you want to call these animals. So I'm sticking with capuchin monkey for now. I don't know if that's, you know, if you found this funny, that's fine, but I'm just like completely confused now, because I tried to find the real one, and it seems there is no common way of pronouncing this animal, which is weird, but hey, whatever. Yeah, you can see that I'm doing a bit of a design here on the bridge with putting some of these signs in to make some of the animals go in. Obviously we have we have the camel going in a few seconds, because we cannot have anything without the camel. There you go, the camel is here. We won't have the camel on top of the roof though, just mentioning this. But yeah, you can see that the bridge is starting to form, and while traveling over the bridge, it almost seems like that there is a habitat for actually connected between both sides, but in fact it isn't. It's a little bit of a shame, because it could be connected in terms of the species enrichment, or interspecies enrichment. It would perfectly work between the giant anteater, the Bird's tapir, and the capuchin monkey, but it really doesn't work because the game won't let me. Simply because I would need to bring the keeper somehow over to the other side, and since we cannot have two gates, it's a little bit of a finicky thing to do, and I decided to just separate the habitats and just make it appear as if they could swim over, and just never do. I mean, that's legitimately the only thing I could do, and I'm happy with it. Yeah, we are doing a little bit of a sunshade design here, which I have to say I'm really happy how it turned out in the end. It was a pain to build, but it is very fun to see how it turned out in the end, because you know, this place over here will be boiling hot. You know, it's gonna be on top of a roof of a gigantic skyscraper in a South American area where there is potentially a lot of sun. So this will be really hot up here, and that's also the reason why I'm really going crazy with the foliage and everything, because it definitely needs to be a lot of shade here. And this bridge, especially having the water surrounding it, which is kind of reflecting the sunlight even more and making it even more hot, would be potentially one of the hottest places in here. And so I decided to put some shades down just to make sure that, you know, the people are in the game being in shade a bit more. And I think that's kind of cool. Actually, it does really cool the area down a little bit, which I think is really great that the game does it. It's really cool. Like, shade and indoor have an effect on temperature, which I think is absolutely fantastic that the game does it. And I just think that this is a cool way of cooling this bridge at least a little bit down. And again, as I said, in terms of the guests, that's really good because they have a bit of shade here and they prefer to sit there. Now, as this was already the end of today's bird's tapir habitat, the last couple of minutes will be going into planning the next episode. Now, I left this in because next episode will potentially be a bit bigger. I'm planning to have the peafowl dedication area in and the orangutan habitat, as you guys were asking for quite a lot. This is one of the most favorite animals, it seems, that should go into this rooftop sky garden zoo. And yeah, this is going to be exactly what it will be. Now you can see I'm just planning the habitat ahead here, just making sure that this is where the peafowls can roam around. It's not going to be like a dedicated habitat for them. It's more or less that the peafowl is roaming around in this central area of the zoo. Unfortunately, I cannot make it the whole zoo because the game, I tried this off screen, but it's quite a bit for the game. The bigger you make the habitat, the more lag you create. And yeah, I just decided to make this very central area where the peafowl is roaming around, or the peafowls. And yeah, it's gonna work out nicely, so it's very exciting, and I hope you guys are tuning in for the next episode. I'm not sure exactly when it will be, somewhere next week, and yeah, there's going to be a lot on this weekend, so make sure to stay with me and check the channel this weekend. So today there's also a Planet Coaster POV, which I'm super proud of. I used reshade and it looks gorgeous. Then we will have on Saturday, so tomorrow, there will be Yosemite again with the Nile monitor habitat, which is also pretty freaking awesome. Then on Sunday we will have franchise again and City Skylines, which I worked on for over 2 weeks, and it's quite a really good progress. And also more POVs from Planet Coaster. So quite a bit going on. I hope you guys enjoy your weekend, and I hope to see you and talk to you in the next episode. Until then, have a good time, stay safe everyone, and goodbye. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Sky Gardens, our skyscraper rooftop zoo. We are already in episode number 8. It's been a few days since the last episode, which is mainly due to my week being Koali week. So in case you haven't seen Koali yet, make sure to check the link in the description or top right. I don't know if I remember, gonna be there. And also make sure to check out this series if you haven't seen yet the first episodes, because otherwise it's been a bit confusing for you maybe. after you've seen the episode. Now, in today's episode, we're going to tackle the memorial garden, and this memorial garden is actually a memorial for you, for those of you who have already sent in the skyscrapers, and for those of you who still want to send in the skyscraper. So in case you are new or you just have missed out on the series so far, the idea is that this is a huge skyscraper in the middle of a South American city, and I asked you guys to send me in some blueprints of potential skyscrapers that can be built around this one. And by around, I mean just giving the context, giving a bit of an idea how this skyscraper could be located within a city. And yeah, that is the main idea. So if you still want to contribute, make sure to send it in. There is a link to my Discord in the description below, and always important is that you put it in the right thread, because that's where I'm going mostly for searching it to keep it simple, or you send it as an email to me with the link to the Steam Workshop file via rudy.rankcamel@googlemail.com. Yeah, well, that's mainly it. Today's episode will be a bit of a shorter time lapse, and therefore a bit of a longer real-time part at the end, mainly because it was pretty straightforward to build it. A lot of foliage and stuff, and I became very good in foliage and stuff, so that is mainly the reason why it was so quick. But yeah, you can see this is now the build of the little memorial. I don't even know how to call it, memorial stone. It's not really necessarily a stone, it's just the memorial piece. What do you want to call it? I think let's call it memorial stone, I guess. Or memorial sign. We can just call it sign. I don't know, but you will see. It's just kind of a little something that makes sure that you guys are put into this garden. And I'm gonna also make like a bigger sign at the beginning later on for those of you who want to check out the zoo, so that they know that this is a thank you for all of the people sending in this these wonderful blueprints. And yeah, so you can see the idea was to build something in connection with some foliage. At the end, I ended up with a little bit of an overgrown info desk. It almost looks like an info desk, to be honest, but yeah, so that every single one of those things looks kinda similar, but still you can just change the name. And yeah, Robstar was the one who was chosen to be the blueprint here, and obviously I'm gonna put in each of your names for those of you who contribute to this one. It's gonna be hell of a work for me, but I'm super happy doing this, because the support was overwhelming lately, and also the growth on the channel is still very decent. It's been quicker, but it's also been slower at times, so I cannot complain at all. It's really good in the recent couple of days, and yeah, really happy how it is at the moment. And just generally very happy about the development. And so I'm very happy also that we upped the game when it comes to all of you guys contributing, whether it's been in the incredibly well appreciated franchise mode, which I'm still very blown away by. Like, I cannot really say how much blown away I am. It's really incredible, and I enjoy every single episode a lot, and this is also the reason why it quickly overtook even this series over here in no time. And obviously because it's quite more easy to do these episodes, because they're mostly real time and not time-lapse. Time-lapse just consumes your time. It's insane. Yeah, so you will see in a bit that this is going to be yeah, very overgrown. It's just like I didn't want to do too much here. I just wanted to make these little bird houses every now and then, and made sure that they can actually use them. Even though I have to say, I don't know what exactly is going on with this habitat or with the peafowls in general. They seem to be very lazy. Like, they really have almost like a predefined route they're taking, and I changed the enrichment items already like a million times, but they're just like, I don't know what exactly works. Like, my tutorial works not. I guess nothing really works with them. They're just like chilling at their slow feeders, and then they might just go to a drink or to a sprinkler, but then they are like all the way back to their slow feeder and just like doing nothing, I guess. It's really weird. I don't know what exactly is going on. Maybe I have to wait a bit more, or maybe I have to exchange the peafowls and look for the perfect peafowl. Who knows? Okay. But no, I'm just like, I don't know, it's really weird. They don't really do anything. It's a bit, yeah, unfortunate. I also wanted to see the male one spreading its feathers, but I've never seen that yet. And also I can tell you already, in the real-time part, it's not gonna happen. Even though I say it, because I pre-recorded that sneakily, it's not gonna happen. I couldn't get them to do this. Is this maybe just a mating thing? But you know, it would be weird if they only do it for mating, right? I don't know. Or maybe panicking or dominance or whatever, or fighting. Like, I think it has some rules, and since I have turned welfare 100% on and everything else is disabled, might be the reason why they don't do it here in the sandbox. But well, who am I to know that, right? It's just weird. Maybe this is also the reason why they don't move that much. I have no idea. I can only say that all of my rules that seem to apply to basically any other animal, well, except the gorilla, seem to work here still. And also I found out a little trick here. I wanted to have some really small seating areas, and you can see that I found out that when you take a bigger piece of a path over here, as you can see, you can put down a seating bench. It's a bit finicky, as you will see here. It's just like testing a bit more, but there you go. And then you just choose a smaller piece, and then you just connect this to the area. You cannot move it afterwards, but you can still move it, and the people are using it. Sometimes you have to be a bit careful, because people will then be floating or whatever, but if you make it a bit more decent than I did over here, you will get some really cool results with it. And I think it's really cool to have these little seating areas a bit raised up here, and we're just doing some small gazebos here, just nothing special. It's just to fit in the location, making it a bit more nice looking, and that's about it. Like, it's really simple yet effective, I would call it. So yeah, I think this is already quite everything I can say about the time-lapse today, because there is not that much more in. I will give you a huge overview of what is going to come up next in this series, and this is kind of the hint to stick with me. It's really important, it's really nice, and you will definitely find out something really cool. Anyways, that's been it from my side in the commentary in this part of the video, but in a few minutes you will be able to catch me again talking you through the real-time part. So enjoy the last bits of the time-lapse, and I'm gonna see you at the other end of the cut. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Sky Gardens. It is one of the last episodes of this series, and in today's episode we are going to take a look at a restaurant and the llama habitat. Now, The next episode, which will be the last one before the big tour, will focus on a little bit of a different thing. I did mess up. Well, I didn't mess up. I changed my mind. So it will be the saltwater crocodile and the Bengal tiger. I'm safe to say because I already built this. It is almost done. Just a few little things and some skyscrapers need to be fit in. So again, the little information here again, or just a reminder, in case you still want to send in some skyscrapers, you can still do so, and you will find yourself in the memorial garden of this wonderful skyscraper zoo. Now, also, one thing I wanted to mention quickly is if you want to consider bringing some of those in, I'm still lacking some more classical ones with a bit of plaster or limestone or stuff like that, or sandstone, because a lot of those skyscrapers you guys send in are wonderfully designed, wonderful modern glass metal-ish things, which I totally love, but to just get a bit more variation into the city phase, so to say, it would be great to have some sandstone stuff. Anyhow, this is just like the little information dump. Also, since I'm just going to talk about this restaurant while we're doing the restaurant in the background, before we get actually to the llamas, I want to give you guys a little bit of an info here, because I will definitely step back a little bit in the next days from the amount of stuff we did here on the channel lately. Now, I wanted to keep the amount of videos high. I wanted to do it that way simply because people were in quarantine and people needed the entertainment and could still watch it. But not only from the numbers and from the overall reaction worldwide, you can tell that overall Corona mess up is going to end. Now, that said, I definitely want to also make sure that I don't push out a video every single day. I will step back a little bit and I'm going to prepare some stuff. I will change my overlay. As soon as we reach 40k people, I will change a few little bits and pieces about my video overlays and also my stream overlay. I have prepared that for weeks already, and it's just like a minor thing why I want to change it, but I will take some time to finish that up, so I have it at hand, and I will still do my videos. But as we are ending this series over here and we are ending some other stuff, I want to have the time to also investigate into some other games, like the wonderful City Skylines, which I haven't been able to do ever since because of all these issues I had with the game. It's just like very time consuming. Also, and that's the next point, obviously my schedule is getting to be more filled these days now with work, and we will be back in the agency next week. So that said, well, it's not me. I need to wait one more week simply because I don't have a car at hand at the moment. It's in the it's to the repair service at the moment, not because it's broken, but it's the every 2 years in Germany you need to pass a test. It's called the TÜV, and you need to get it through in order to be allowed to still drive the car, and it's just currently there, and that's why I will need to stay at home one more week. But then again, after this week there will be agency work again. That means stuck in traffic jam, that means more time on the road, that means less time at home, and also the very convenient lunch break recordings are gone, which is one of these things you do not imagine how much time this saved me. Like, honestly, all these recordings I could do in my lunch break, like half an hour recording and then just leave the game or like leave the computer rendering while I'm sitting on the balcony and eat some stuff and then get back to work. You really don't notice that until you have this now, that you are like saving 5 to 6 hours a week, which is ridiculous if you imagine how much time that would be in the evenings to do some more stuff. So eventually, efficiently. God, this is so bad. In the end, this will be effectively exactly the time I will be missing, and there's no way I can cover this time, and yeah, that's the simple reason. I think I just explained that a few times already, but I just thought it's a good thing to mention that again, just to prepare you guys. Don't worry at all, it's not that anything happens or something, it's just getting back to normality, and I guess that's a very good thing. Yeah, but we are doing a little bit of cool stuff here. We are just doing a bit of a how's it called, like a self-service counter over here for the restaurant. We do some info boards where you can see what's on the table, what you can grab here, and just put some drinks down. And I had some little ideas what could go down here, and put some fruits and stuff, just like, you know, something you could just grab there from the restaurant. And yeah, that's pretty simple, like nothing crazy. I just wanted to make a little bit of a nice looking detail here. as I said, it's just here to make a bit of a detail and nothing really crazy, you know. Also, I found the sand marker to be very interesting as a kind of spices, you know. So I put this one down to have a little plate of spices, I could imagine. And then I put down these fences you would see in this kind of takeaway restaurant-ish style. Also, I think you have seen that I had a little gallery open in the middle to make sure that there is a bit of light going in. Unfortunately, today there will be no real-time part at the end. I will bring this in at one of the next episodes, mainly because I continued building and I don't have a save file where there's only the llama habitat in, which is a bit of a pity. But it doesn't really matter too much. We still have some solid 10 plus minutes of an episode today, and I really hope that you guys are going to like it. Now, this llama habitat over here is something rather simple, but I think it's very fitting. I wanted to have these animals in because they didn't get the attention they deserve, and so I was like, I need to bring them in. And I'm just doing a little bit of a very man-made temple build here, so you can really tell that this is made only for the llamas in here and not like a real temple. Because again, as we also talked about this for the capuchin monkeys, it is definitely not very clever to put some real stones up on here. So this would all be like some plaster pieces or some other stuff. I forgot the name again of the other material, but yeah, some very much light material that you use to make some fictional stones and fictional stone pieces in real life as well, to make sure that the weight is not so crazy. And this is what I'm going to do here. I made this very central point where we'll build. Oh God, what is going on today? I have some weird talking issues. A bobble. Damn it. Maybe because of the live stream yesterday. Too much talk in the live stream. Now, but this will be a central element where the llamas can sleep on. It's very cool though that they are taking that really hands-on. Like they really went there in the first second, and it's so cool to see how they use it. And I'm quite happy that this worked out so well. But yeah, this whole habitat will be rather simple, as I said. The llamas are a bit on display here in the front, but then they have also their little privacy area in the back where they can go into the building. And I also made sure that this over here, this area is not like too open and too much in the sun. We also make, like, as we'll see now, we make a little bit of a roof design here, making it look quite cool, like quite kind of put on top of it. It's like something you would see in a real life zoo as well, where you have these temple pieces, but then you build like a very solid little canopy above it, which is pretty simple. It's nothing crazy, just like very much all of these wooden pieces, and then as soon as you start putting the foliage around, it kind of comes together and looks rather nice. And yeah, you can see I'm using all of that to make it look a bit more jungle-ish, and especially from above, when you look at the hotel skyline itself from above, it looks really cool to have so much greenery in. And so this is also the reason why I'm not trying to avoid any kind of foliage over here. I'm trying to put in as much as I can in terms of foliage, simply because I feel like this is the best idea to have. Also making sure that all of the rooftops here have some garden-ish stuff on top of them, also to make it green, to hide the buildings away a little bit, and also in terms of heat and temperature. This is rather important to have these kind of things on top of the building as well. This kind of guarantees that you don't run into some severe issues of heat problems, and that the shade is also really, what you want it to be. Shade that cools you down. So that's the main reason for having it. Yeah, you can see I'm just doing like a bit of a cleanup here, so that the door frame is not, completely lost, and just building a bit of a nicer element here. You will be able to tell already that this whole area over there will be made available and will be easy for the people to not be able to see when they walk by. What the hell is going on with my English today? It's awfully broken. I don't know what's going on. I'm sorry for the weird commentary today. It's awful. Never mind. So yeah, we're just doing a little bit of a change here with one of the existing habitat barriers. I'm using the one that we used already for the giant anteater, and I found this lattice pieces here that could be used quite nicely as a little fence. I made sure that it also has a frame, because otherwise it kind of looks a bit weird, and just making sure that you do have these things. Even though Frontier did add the capability of llamas being walk-through animals now, it kind of came too late for this design, and I don't want to change it, so I left this open as an area where you only look at the animals, even though I would have loved to have like a bit of an open area where they can pet the llamas, but you know, as of now it is only to look for the people, and I think it's fine. I'm just going to make this area over here like a window, as you will see in a bit, like a glass wall, just to make sure that they have a nice view towards the temple. Nothing crazy, just put some rocks down there to make it look nice, and then blend it all with the color. I really like the painting with the texture tools. It really looks cool in time-lapse. I was also thinking if I could make like a real painting with the texture, even though the one issue is that the texture is not, like, it's not sharp enough. Like, they blend in all very nice, but you cannot really draw some sharp lines, so that might be the only reason why I'm not doing this. But yeah, it's rather cool. It's kind of cool how you can paint in the game and work with some shadows and stuff. But yeah, as you can see, I'm putting quite a few llamas in here just to make sure that there is enough going on, and we have enough llamas roaming around. You can see also that I'm using quite a bit of foliage in here, just to make sure that it all looks a bit more overgrown. I kind of like the fact how it is dropping down over the edges of the building. It makes the whole building look not as clean, not as natural, not as normal. Well, it does make it look natural, but not as made up. This is what I meant. Yeah, as always, the animals have a bit of an issue before they start moving. I think it's the way how the game calculates it. And again, this has also been changed in the latest patch. Now the calculation is already taking place while the loading screen, and there's a hint now that this works. So yeah, it's rather cool to know. But yeah, here at the end of the episode, you see something that I have been starting to do before we went to the new saltwater crocodile house, which you will see in the next episode. I started to cover up these little blank spots here that were still open, and I made a little bit of a covered up for the floor, which is the last thing we are doing. And then in the next episode, you will see how this finishes up and how the Bengal tiger and the saltwater crocodile habitat will look like. It's going to be quite a long episode, number 10. Maybe we even have a guest for this episode, who knows, but maybe for the tour at the weekend, I'm not sure yet, but maybe I'm gonna get a guest for this one, for the commentary. But yeah, we will see. Now, yeah, that's been it. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I certainly did, even though I had some weird issues with my English talk today. Again, the little reminder, guys, if you like to contribute to this project, make sure to send me in a Skycraper. You can go to my Discord channel down below and put it in. Also, if you want to see some new screenshots, teasers and stuff, I highly recommend to check out my Instagram too. I'm doing some more stuff lately, also some more private stuff, so if you want to know what I'm doing in between, you can check this out as well. Link is in the description. And have a good time, guys, as always. See you then. Goodbye. Happy Hump Day. Hey everyone, and welcome to the wonderful Sky Gardens episode number 10. And today we are going to talk about crocodiles and tigers. Yeah, this is going to be an episode, and you have just seen the brand new overlay. I really hope you guys like it. I said I want to do it when we hit the 40k, but honestly, it's just quite a few people away, so why not just do it right now? I just made the switch because it's done. Today's episode will be about a crocodile habitat and also a Bengal tiger habitat. So this episode is quite long, and it's gonna be the last time lapse of Sky Gardens. Now, don't worry, there will be a wonderful big tour on Sunday, and this is going to be awesome. Very interesting episode. I can only recommend to already put this into your calendars and be there, because with the tour there will be also this zoo released. All of your skyscrapers are in, and at the end of the episode you already see a little bit of my preparation for the skyscrapers I did, but the big reveal will be a little bit of a surprise for Sunday. There are a lot of things I did as a little surprise. So the final tour tour on Sunday will be very interesting because it's not like what you see already. This is also one of the reasons why we are not going to have a real-time part at the end today, obviously, because that would like spoil way too much. I want you to have the full experience on Sunday. And it's gonna be interesting. Yeah, it's gonna be very, very interesting. I hope you guys are all there. But now it's time to talk about today's episode. And yeah, it's been quite a short decision, like a very, very quick decision. I changed my mind entirely. Like I've done a little bit of planning in the last couple of weeks, and you guys have seen those things and yeah, all these kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, I decided to take the saltwater crocodile over the gharial, and I also decided to go for a Bengal tiger instead of the capuchin monkeys and the reptile house. The main reason for that was that I kind of had the feeling I needed a bit of weight to this whole zoo. And on the other hand side of the zoo, we do have the jaguars and the capuchin monkeys and the giant anteater. So there's quite a lot of interesting animals over there. And on the other hand side, we just have the peafowls and the llama, which is not super interesting. And given the fact we only would have done some of the reptiles and the gharial, again, those animals are not like super interesting for the guests. And I really had the issue of the way the people spread in the zoo and how they moved. So I thought it would be better to have some more appealing animals and also to make some really nice habitats. So you can see this habitat over here is one of my favorites. The main reason for that is that I started to build this habitat in a way I just kind of had in my mind for a few weeks, and I didn't know if it makes sense, but yeah, it's kind of a sunken habitat, but still it's raised. So the idea is that you have like on normal ground level, well, it's not ground level because we are all out in the sky, but on the first level of our sky gardens, you can go in here and you have the wonderful underwater viewing. But once you go up to this viewing platform where there's also a little bit of a food shop going on, you can look down into the habitat. So it's really cool because the elevation changes in the habitat, but yet it's kind of sunk into the building, which I think is kind of cool, and it looks really great from above. And you have the skyline, you can really look into the mountains, and then just look down and you just see the crocodile habitat. So maybe this is even like the screenshot for today's episode, or like the thumbnail I'm going to use. Not really sure though what I'm going to use. I have to play around with it. I've got some cool shots and I really have to see how I will make this. But anyways, yeah, you can see it's been a whole bunch of work to really make this look nice, and I needed to cover up a lot of ugly spaces in between, which I ended up doing quite simple, but as you know from the game, it's not always simple. It's really tedious to make it really look nice and flowing and really clean. It's mostly very, very much of a pain to build this because it's everything is so small and everything is so narrow over here and very tight, cramped together, and you still want to make it look very natural and flowing and organic, which means that you have to build clean and not have pieces sticking out everywhere and stuff like that. So I really tried to achieve this mostly with these planters. And yeah, I made some mistakes here and there by just having too big of pieces, and you can see I needed to sink the roof a little bit down because some of the pieces from above were basically sticking into this lower area. And yeah, you will basically also see that I'm not doing any lighting in this episode. I did lighting actually later on, which is not like completely done, but it's enough to have like a nighttime view. I didn't want to go completely into lighting because honestly, oh my god, this is like so much work. It's insane, and I was just like, okay, you know, it's enough the way it is, and it looks so much more better in daylight anyways, that I decided to not go the full way of making it completely night vision lit as well. So it's really naturally subtly lit. You can go everywhere and you have some lights, but it's not overdone and not like perfectly done. But I think it's fine. Here and there you just need to take some shortcuts to end this here, and I'm quite happy to be honest that I am finishing this project right now. I know a lot of you people out there love this project, and don't worry, there is no need to be sad or disappointed, because this project fulfilled what it should do. It definitely delivered on what I was challenging, and my challenge was to make something out of the box, something different, something very big and huge, something Rudy-esque, if you will. And that's been it. It really was great, but I think it's time to move on, first of all, and most importantly, to give me some more time for all the other stuff that's going to happen again, now with all the crisis ending and stuff. Like, I don't want to call it ending, but in Germany it really feels like ending, to be honest, but like the real life will happen as it is again, as it was before. And so yeah, time is going to be less, and I said this in multiple videos. I don't want to repeat myself too much. I'm like sounding like a broken record here, but it's important to really be a bit more headed toward the future and always plan things out in a good way, because that gives you just the little bit of the edge to be in charge of things and in control. And I want to be in control, and this is the reason why I think this was the perfect decision to end this series over here already. Now, even though I could have go on and do a bit more, but honestly, what else should I do? Put another rooftop on here, build some more buildings that have the same. It's kind of always the same, you know what I mean? It's not like challenging anymore, and I need the challenge. And yeah, so I'll move on. I have some cool ideas. I'm working at the moment, and this will be the first reveal that I am on another movie habitat. And this one is going to be, I can say it. It's going to be the best yet. Full stop. I don't know if it's going to be my best build yet, but it's definitely the best movie habitat yet. For me personally, I mean, people always see things differently, and still Planet of the Apes seem to be the favorite. But I kind of it's potentially one of the most obvious ones, but still the most challenging one to nail it. And this is why it really keeps me busy at the moment. I have no idea when it's going to be released. I will take the time to make it nice, and I don't want to rush it. So it might be that you have to wait for maybe a few weeks even until it's released. But yeah. It's all pretty nice and fine, and I can only say that I'm quite happy with the idea in my mind that I'm starting to realize in this project. So yeah, I can already give you a bit of a let's say tease, if you will. It's gonna be not only one animal. In fact, there will be a lot of animals in there. I cannot say all the animals, because then you will definitely know what it is. It's very straightforward though. But anyways, yeah, now as you can see, we are going to move forward into the Bengal tiger habitat, and I had some special ideas about that one. I wanted to have this building, like the how's it called again, the shelter at the end of this area here, to make sure that these animals have a bit of privacy area, and then we do still have the indoor view of their sleeping area, and then we have an outdoor where it can roam around. And yeah, funny enough, and I didn't know that this would work, but funny enough, this habitat is actually big enough for the Bengal tiger. Like, it's just like what you would expect it to be, a bit smaller than what they require, but it's still in the yellow. It's still close to be green even in their requirements, so it's really interesting. I could have stretched that a tiny bit more and even give them the space, but yeah, I think this might be one of the downsides of this series, that most of the animals do not really have the size they require if you want to talk about like animal welfare. But honestly, come on, it's a zoo on a rooftop. Like, what would you expect? Okay, it's not like that they can have like a AZA compliant habitat build. It's just not possible. But I think it's like none of those animals is living in a completely disastrous cage or whatever. So it's all within the range of still an enjoyable habitat for the animals, where you could at least say it's not too bad. Okay, so always coming from the point that these animals live in captivity, which is not a good thing, but hey, we're on a zoo game, so let's not talk about that. It's all about being creative here and trying to maximize this. But yeah, so I can only say that I was really enjoying this series a lot, like really a lot, and definitely gonna miss this. But honestly, on the bright side though, this is my first zoo that I completely and entirely finished in this game, and it feels like a really great relief, guys. I cannot tell you. I'm not even counting the winter project in or whatever, because that was just like 5 animals in really big habitats and just like something different. So now that wasn't really finished. I cannot really tell. It's not really finished. So this one is finished with all its beauty and with all its stuff. It is finished. I again took some other shortcuts, so you won't see the you will not see the elevator area, which I planned initially. That's not gonna happen because the indoor building is just like a nightmare, and I see no point in doing that. There is just no valid reason to spend the time doing that, because it doesn't really add anything to this project at all. And I think this is one of the things I want to be a bit more aware of in the future. Sometimes I tend to do stuff because I want to do stuff, and it's not like there is no reason for it, which I think in the way of how YouTube works and how the stuff works on here, it's exactly the way to go, because there's no reason to build a digital zoo in the first place if you want to argue like that. But this is not the question, it's not the thing. My point is that, like, I tend to do stuff to kind of challenge it, and it really doesn't add to the project, and I really have to look a bit better into what adds to a certain project. And again, I think this is exactly what Yosemite drives forward. Yosemite always tries to add stuff that really adds something to the series, and I'm not even talking about habitats itself. Like, let's say the parking lot, let's say the overall railway that is going around the zoo and stuff. It doesn't really add anything in terms of the game, but it does add a lot in terms of the project, making it feel more alive, feeling more realistic. And this is the same thing with the skyscrapers. They do definitely add exactly that, but adding like this interior area below the zoo with maybe just a bit styled stuff, again, it doesn't really add anything. You just go through it and there is just, yeah, it's nicely designed, but what else would you do? Which is like, you know, there's not a point of having that. And I really want to look a bit more into this to make sure that my builds are a bit more straightforward, a bit more focused on what really is necessary, and therefore also be able to do some better stuff. But that's just a very personal thing. Maybe none of you even have realized that at all. I don't know. It's just something I wanted to talk about, because I felt this is an area where I can improve. And yeah, well, full stop. That's what I just thought about it. Yeah, you can see now Bengal tiger habitat is about to be improved with a lot of foliage. Like, what I was doing here is always trying to create like a backside or like a back wall that is completely covered in foliage and stuff, just to make sure that the immersion in the zoo for those areas where the people are walking on top of this rooftop is kept. And I only wanted like to have some really dedicated areas where the people have the feeling on being on the rooftop. So we have, in fact, we only have 3 sky terrace things going on. So that's the one looking like a leaf. We have the other one over here pointing at the saltwater crocodile one, and obviously the one in the entrance building that is just the lookout for the Komodo dragons, but also, if you will, for the rest of the zoo, because you can see this side over here quite nicely from this terrace there. And yeah, on the other hand side, you have this slightly raised area that guides you through between the main building and the giant anteater, which I think is pretty cool. But anywhere else, it's mostly hidden away in a nice way, because I think also for some people it might be a bit weird to always have the view into the far back, and just like creates a bit of uncertainty and even kind of the feel of danger or whatever. If you, I don't know if your house is cold, if you are sick of heights or whatever. I think is it even sick of heights? But anyways, afraid of heights. I think that's what I want. Not sick. Like, okay, I think it's kind of it's very closely connected, but I think it's afraid of heights. But yeah, you can see I was just trying to make like an ant sign over here. It's like kind of like a connection sign, whatever. I was just tinkering around with it to make it look nice, and I ended up with this version over here, which I was quite happy because it gives this nice little sign over here. And yeah, I just figured that I need to change some of the color variants of the sign, because yeah, it didn't really feel that nice, and yeah, just create a little bit of a shadow, and then I was quite happy with it. And honestly, now coming to this last bear area, I thought about putting some shops in here, and then I thought about maybe doing some small exhibits. I also thought about making like a small tortoise habitat there, but I ended up doing like a fountain because I didn't want to overdo it, you know. Surely a wonderful giant tortoise habitat would have fit in here and would have been cool. People would have been there and standing around and stuff, but again, I think this project really was about focusing on what is needed and what is nice and what could be done. And honestly, if you do this rooftop thing, it's already kind of crazy the way it is anyway. So I thought, you know, just keep it a bit more simple here. And honestly, I find this fountain looking very cool just in front of that building. So it's really cool to have this one. It gives a bit of context, it makes this area look a bit better, and all over I just like how it is. And yeah, I'm just finishing up now the rest of it with a lot of these Asian stone walls, which I'm still a big fan of. Making sure that all the buildings are nicely covered. Again, I didn't pay too much attention now to how these buildings were looking, because this is just like, this is the backstage area, you know. You don't need to spend that much time on that anyways. You could though, like it's just like no rule to not do it. And if you do some kind of crazy stuff like Haribo does lately, it's totally ridiculous but necessary how he's focusing on the backstage, because you want to redo, like if you do recreation, you need to do it like 100%, and that's including the backstage, right? So I'm not gonna say that this is not necessary at all, but for this kind of project over here, you won't even look at that too much. So I think it's fair to not have too much of a too much of, I don't know, backstage detail also taking away from the performance. Because honestly, one thing I didn't think about, like the performance was really good with the rooftop, and I'm even considering releasing this thing maybe without the city around for some people, to have two versions, because honestly, with all your skyscrapers in, the performance really drops. Like it kind of gets a heavy hit, which is natural because some of the skyscrapers I got like have a lot of pieces and I just copied them around. So I'm just calculating that there were like a few thousand pieces added, maybe even like 100,000 pieces added. Only with the skyscraper. You can see that I am doing a bit of a city layout over here. This is the little first hint I'm giving you, but I can only tell you that some of it had to be changed. So I was trying to give this also like a highway over here, as you can see on both sides. I thought the idea was cool, but at the end of the day, I didn't succeed in making like a nice little transition into the area. You can see I was trying to use some of the old school tricks in creating these kind of ramps, but I don't know, I was just not satisfied by how it turned out to be looking. Like, you know, you could have gotten away with it by just saying, hey, that's how it is. But at the end of the day, I decided to only have a monorail, even though the first attempt of the monorail was only to have like these guide rails, aluminum rails, whatever you want to call them. But yeah, so I ended up only having a bit of a building stuff. Anyways, this is already the end of this episode. It's a little bit of a tease, but if you enjoyed it, make sure to stick with me, hit the subscribe button for all the updates on several projects more. And yeah, I can only tell you, be here on Sunday, because the tour will be really cool. And yeah, if you want to see more stuff, also check out my Instagram. All the links are, as always, in the description. You know that stuff. And I wish you guys a wonderful and happy weekend now. Gonna see you tomorrow and on Sunday. Have a good time. And goodbye, everyone. Stay safe. Hello everyone, and finally we are here with a long-awaited tour. Yeah, a bit of change of plans. We are now on Monday, not on Sunday, but for those of you carefully reading the overly big text on my latest video, do know that there's a reason why it is Monday. I've got a guest with me. Hello, Bo.
Hello.
There you are. So
there I am. I'm sorry for delaying your video.
No, don't worry, it's all fine. It was pretty funny though. We were just checking in and like we had kind of an appointment made already, and I was recording the episode, and during the recording you wrote me and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna put a text on top now. That's okay. That was good. So yeah, that's cool.
But I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm really happy that you're here. So I really wanted to do this together, because like, as I always say, like doing tours is always fun when you have someone who hasn't seen it before. And that's the good thing. You don't know this project, right?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
I'm still here. I had a little bit of a delay. But I was just going to say as well, like, I think it's also really nice right now to do these kind of videos because obviously I can't visit an actual zoo. So I'm even more excited to see, a Planet Zoo built by you. I like rhymed 4 times, which is very impressive.
Would you like to rap again?
No, maybe.
All right. Okay, before we start, so that's kind of cool because it's a very unusual zoo. We already joked in the episode that this might be potentially only a Disney that could build a zoo because it's essentially it's on the rooftop on a skyscraper. You might be able to tell that this is inspired by the Singapore one, the Marina Bay Sands one, but it's kind of converted into a South American hotel idea, whatever. And just a little hint, all these buildings around here that kind of mimic a city are sent in by people watching this series, so like community members. That's so cool. We will also see all the names up there. There's a little memorial garden we are going to visit. And,
I'm already about to cry.
Yeah, it's so cool. Like, I was really blown away by the amount of people that sent them in. I wanted to make the city more dense, but to keep the FPS somewhat okay, I just needed to make it a bit more open. It's like a very modern city, okay? It's keeping some space for some foliage and stuff. But yeah, let's just move toward the actual zoo. I just grabbed in so much foliage here, so maybe we just see some foliage on the road.
Tree.
Yeah, we need to. Oh, this one is also sent in by the community. Yeah.
I know. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I've seen some stuff on the workshop, but I'm just so blown away by
it looks so cool.
The Planet community's creativity all the time. My God. Yeah, I really needed this today.
Yeah. Bamboo sticks, oh my lord. Bamboo is the new most versatile piece in the game, I tell you.
It's so good, isn't it?
It's incredible. You can do it for everything. It can be bamboo, it can be wood, it can be metal, it can be everything.
Yay!
Ah, look at that. By the way, size-wise, this might be a little bit too big, but it's okay. I think it's okay.
I love it.
Oh god, it's so good.
It looks so realistic.
Yeah, I think it's still okay. It's still within the boundaries of a semi-realistic build, but on top it's all a bit more realistic. So yeah, this is the entrance area.
Did you shape it like this as well? You did this one, yeah?
Yeah. This is like everything from here I made. Like this entire lake over here with the fountains and stuff, and yeah. So we're gonna go in, and now we're just gonna move in quickly. Whoops, where we go? There we go. And this is like the little entrance area where we have to take the elevator, obviously.
Yeah.
And now, let me just quickly say, we're gonna just jump into the elevator, and I'm gonna cut this because you want to see something now. Let's just move in. Boom. This is the staircase of death. It's gonna quickly move up, and then I'm gonna cut this to the elevator again because that's super ugly.
This is awesome.
But
if it was made of burgers, it would be like my very first Planet Coaster blueprint called Burger Staircase to Hell.
Exactly.
Where we're going?
Oh my lord!
Burger Staircase to Hell.
Oh, this is so crazy. I mean, my people in this zoo have an awesome stamina. I tell you, for all of them, they are up in the sky. They deserve it. So,
oh my gosh. So do you for spiraling up like this.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, so now getting seasick.
Okay, let's like bing. Now we are upstairs. So this was taken.
That was a great elevator ride.
Yeah, that was awesome, wasn't it? Super cool.
Yeah, high speed, love it.
Yeah, it was awesome, and it's also pretty safe. And all the people up here, they have an awesome stamina. I can tell you. For those people who know the series, they know that there actually is a very weird staircase in there. At the beginning, I planned to really make this all themed and build this, but I started doing this, and I was like, no, I'm not going to do this. No, so many pieces, so many spirals, that's too much. So I kept with the idea of an elevator. And let's be honest, we all would take the elevator, right?
Yes.
All right, so we move in. This is where you're greeted, and this is Sky Gardens. There you go. Oh, I must put the... Oops, sorry. I'm just gonna adjust the sound because it's very loud. Audio. There you go. There we go. Because we all want to hear the bow. There we go. So let's move up again. Wait, I'm gonna try so you don't see too much. Wait, where am I? Ah, there we go. I'm gonna take her. Here we go. Okay, here we are, back again. Awesome. So, this is the entrance, as you can see. And this is Sky Gardens. Now let's go in and have a little look. because you can see we are now greeted with a wonderful little sign on the bottom, which resembles the wonderful hotel.
Wow.
There you go. And right in front of us, there is the zoo map already. So it's now up to you to decide which route we take. But this is the zoo map. And you can see also peafowls already roaming around. They move freely in this area.
Oh my gosh.
Look at that. It's taking a little bit of a little fountain here. A sprinkler. I just found that the animals in this game, they just love sprinklers. That's the most OP thing ever, but it's great. They just love it.
Who doesn't love a sprinkler? Come on.
Oh, I love it. I mean, remember those days when we were small? I had this like when I was going to the football club at the very beginning. Like I was super small, like 2 years old, I don't know. And there was like 10 minutes of playing football and then I think 30 minutes of just running through the sprinkler. Like all the same. Every day the same. But it was so cool. It was so good.
Oh.
I love it. Yeah.
All right, so you want me to choose where to go?
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, I have to compliment you on your amazing map skills. I know you like a good map.
Yeah, maps are very important, as we know.
I know. I think we should go left.
Left.
And save the jaguars for last, yeah.
Okay, good. So we're gonna turn left. So, actually, that's cool. We can start with the memorial garden then. So this is on the right-hand side is the memorial garden. Left-hand side is the Komodo dragon habitat. Oh, look at that. They're both already chilling next to the little lake. There you go. This is the little Komodo dragon habitat. It's just enjoying the time in the sun. There we go. Okay, and on the right-hand side, this is part of the peafowl habitat and yet at the same time, the little dedication area. I'm just going to move forward and show you all the names. So, we have the likes of Haribo, this madman. Haribo really, he kind of overtook every one of us, and he's the master of using pieces right now. So if he would build the Cologne Cathedral, he would not take 66,000, he would 666,000 pieces. Haribo is insane. He's crazy. Then we've got Roybstar. He's also been contributing a lot lately, so it's really cool.
Hi, Roybstar.
Then we have, furthermore, we have Bobby Rossi. Also,
Bobby Rossi.
I don't know if I took the Steam names, guys, so please, if you're in the Discord or somewhere else with another name, I'm sorry, but it was easier to take the Steam names because they're linked to the blueprint, so sorry if the one. Yeah, we've got Atomic. Actually, there's a TM missing, but I couldn't make like a raised TM, so I left it there. So Atomic. We've got Clap Guns. I love this name, though. Then we have also Ludo 0704. And then let's continue. We also have, who's that? Benjua. I think it's Jua, right? Benjua. We've got LDP. We've got Ria Petrikova. Ria is also there. Kohli. Kohli. That's just an A missing. Then it would be Koali.
I know.
This is good. Who's that over there?
The garden is lovely.
It's just a little bit of a shade area because it's pretty hot up here. So, yeah, we need a bit of shade. So we have Kalkplaat. It's actually, I think it's a Dutch name, isn't it?
It's a Dutch word, yeah.
It's a Dutch word. Okay, so Kalk. What does it mean?
I'm not really sure how to translate that, but kalk is like chalk, and plaat is like a plate or a disc.
Ah, okay, yeah.
I guess, yeah.
Ah, okay, understood. Yeah, I think then I know I know also German word for it. Yeah. We've got Deska here, then we have on the other side Agnieszka Staninova. Oh god, I cannot pronounce the last name, so I left it out. Agnieszka is here as well, and there's also another one in the front. Who's that? I don't know who that was. This was Ipon. Yeah, Ipon as well. So yeah, all the names, these people all contributed with their skyscrapers to this wonderful build.
So I loved it a lot.
Yeah, in the middle.
Well done.
Bit sun recreation area here. You can take some seats here if you want. But yeah, this on the left-hand side here is a bit more for the peafowls. You can hear them in the back. Oh god, no, you cannot hear them, but I can hear them screaming all the time. And I sneakily hid the entrance to the habitat here in the back, so it seems almost like they move around free. I didn't want to make this like a habitat, but this is like the whole zoo is their habitat. I think I love the fact that you can do this in the game. I love it. So, yeah, if you want food, Bo, we can take some food here on the left-hand side. With a little
hey, I'm always up for a snack, you know me.
I know. Exactly. So, we've got some fruits here, look at that. We've got little
very healthy
foods, yeah, and then we've got Hats Fantastic, Just a Memento, an information kiosk, balloons, actually. Oh, I'm such a clever person. I put food here, but only some souvenirs all over the... Yeah, no, you cannot grab any food here. But we will get to a restaurant eventually. Yeah, we have... this is like an open gallery. I like the idea to have like an open gallery here, because the tree gives us enough shade. And then, you know, it wouldn't be too sticky and hot in here if you stay here. So yeah, it's open. You can... If it rains, you get wet. But if not, you've got some free... breeze of air. But let's just imagine you could close the roof if it rains. But yeah, that's the little little grabby area for some goods.
Can we grab like grab a smoothie or something?
Yeah, sure. Let's grab
just while we walk, you know.
Yeah. What kind of flavor do you like?
I like my forest fruits, and I like my mango, passion fruit.
Ah, okay, so that would be the yellow one.
Let's go for that yellow one. Yeah.
That's the yellow one. Okay, we take that one.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, and there you go. Take the yellow one. Awesome. So Bo has her drink, so we can continue. And before we go to what is the crocodile and tiger area in the back, on the right-hand side we have my family members, the llamas. I'm gonna move a little bit quicker forward here. There you go. Look at them.
I'm running. I'm so excited to see llamas.
Exactly. But don't spit over some of your drink, your smoothie. Be careful.
No.
Okay.
I'm enjoying that.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, the llamas over here. They have a little temple, fallen temple built here, and in the middle there is their bedding, and they love it. They love it. They're just always there. Wait, is there actually? Wait, we just sneakily go in here. Look at that. Just enjoying the little sleep in the shade here. Oh, I love it.
I can't blame them.
No, I would totally do this as well.
If I was a llama, I would just be chilling all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't bother me. I just want to live on a mountain. Just let me chill.
Yeah, and
have coffee.
And then just wait some people come by, get you some smoothies, right? Some fruits.
Yeah.
Just get some.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, that's exactly how you would do it.
Best life.
Live. Yeah, that's life. Live long quarantine as a llama. That's good.
Exactly.
Great. So yeah, on the left-hand side, we have the wonderful big cat, the tiger, the Bengal tiger. It's moving towards the back, but don't worry, we can catch it because there's also like an indoor viewing we are going to see in a second. Let's move forward. Yeah, this is now the one end of the zoo. So we have a little bit of a fountain here. You can sit down. You have some more viewing opportunities here on the left-hand side for the Bengal tiger. There's like a screen here, but I tried to, you know, the further you get to the back, I granted them some more privacy, so the animals can go in. But let's just move inside this area. So
I'm like once again so impressed with like your use of different materials and how you oh my god, I'm just spacing on the word, how you like mesh up the walls with the rocks and like let them clip through each other and stuff.
Oh yeah.
The collision, there we go. Oh my god. What is the word? Yeah, it just looks so good. It looks like so naturally built and like all the materials work for the area. I just love it.
Yeah,
so
thanks.
Good.
This is really, it was a cool challenge because I wanted to totally go into a bit of a different way. I wanted to be a bit more modernist and not really, you know, the wonderful thing about the South America pack is really it gives you the temple pieces and stuff like that, which is kind of the obvious thing to go to. But I wanted to blend this in with a very modern approach. So something, how could you use all these new pieces in a very modern approach? I think it just works great. So if we go to the left-hand side, you have a sneaky little view inside the sleeping area of the Bengal tiger, for example. And this is where I also use a lot of the new pieces, but also some of the old pieces. And you can see,
nice.
Just go in. There you go. This is the little cave. And obviously we have some double-sided glass here for the... Oh, look at that. The tiger's playing outside. There you go. And the other one is all the way in the back, getting some... Let's wait, maybe it comes over to us. Let's see. The big tiger. I love them. I'm still such a big fan of the Bengal tiger in the game. I love it.
Oh, absolutely.
I love it so much.
They're so chunky.
They are. I really love them. Oh, does it really do it for us? Look at that. Oh my god, this looks lovely. Oh my god, this is insane.
Hello.
Hello, kitty. How are you doing?
Precious. Oh, the other one too. It's like, hello.
Yeah,
I hear there's a Tejet cam. I am interested.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, cute.
Oh, no. Okay, that's enough. Okay, yeah, I posed for you. That's fine. I'm going to go again. Yeah, okay. Did you take your photo?
I'm done, yeah.
What a poser. Dang it.
So cute.
Oh, look at that one.
So
this is also posing for us. Look at the...
Hello.
There you go.
Oh, I love this.
It's getting some fresh air. Yeah, so this one is a very special habitat. One of the last one I built, and I got some inspiration from some new zoo habitat ideas online. Oh god, I love this website called Zoo Chat. This is just one of the coolest websites ever. It's so much inspiration. And yeah, this is one of these things I did. So you have the underwater viewing over here, but if we go upstairs, let me just show you. Oh, I love it when the sun is peeking through like that. Look at, oh, I love it. Just like, oh, let me go out.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so good. Oh, the lighting in the game. God. Yeah, so you go up here and look at this. We are now in this raised area, and now you have a wonderful view down into the habitat. So if you are in the gallery down there, you have the underwater viewing, but from above, you can really see the habitat emerging and, like, you know, how it is from over here.
Wonderful.
And then they have their shelter to the right-hand side here. They have their privacy going on in the back. So it's, yeah, we don't need to
Very
worry.
nice.
Yeah, and I think it's not good for people that are sick of heights, because as you can see, we are way up in the sky now.
Yes.
It's even more crazy if you turn here to the left-hand side. Look at that.
Wow.
This is so cool, right? Isn't it? This is so good. You can see all in the back. By the way, this is where we can grab some food, but you still have your smoothie. Oh wait, we can just get
no, I'm finished.
Oh yeah, do you want a donut?
Donut.
Oh, I knew it. Okay, so which one?
I'll have. Okay. I'll go for something with sprinkles.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just go for like the just chocolate sprinkles one.
Chocolate
I'll
sprinkles one. Okay. What wonderful. It's here in the gallery. Let's take one.
Oh, perfect.
Okay.
That's what I wanted.
Awesome. I'm gonna take a taco quickly because I love tacos.
Yes, very nice.
Take that one. All right, so I'm yeah. I need to make sure that I can still speak and not have all the food in my mouth the whole time. That's fine. Great. Okay, yeah. We can also grab some cash if we want. If we need more food later, we have some more cash now. But yeah, this is the raised up area, and yeah, this is the little area above the Bengal tiger. Just some low foliage stuff and just little foliage to make sure there's something. God, it's crowded over here. People, social distancing. Hello, what's going on? So, yeah, no, we could just go back around this corner. We have a little bit more of a like tempo wall down here. This is, by the way, just some backstage area. All over, we have some backstage areas. And
very nice.
Yes, it's all designed and it's all built. Let me just show you one thing.
I wouldn't have expected otherwise.
I don't know why I do this stuff, but yeah. You even have some preparation area over here, you know, some food you can make down here, and then you have some kind of little facility for the staff members over here. You can see the staff members just using it as it should. Yeah, so everything is done. Good. We also have a bit of backstage here. Now we can, and this is the idea of the zoo, we can take this route now to the other side, because now we have this one side done. No, I don't want to go through the planter here. That's not, you know, that's not what you should do. There you go. Oh, look at this. These two are still chilling over there, doing their little tongue thing.
Cute.
I do have to say, the Komodo dragons are one of the coolest animals in the game, because I don't know who of your designers did this, but holy crap, the texture on that one is insane. Like all the details and stuff, and all the little scales, and oh my god, it's so cool. And I just love that one. Also, it really, when it moves, you can really see this kind of iconic heavy weight moving forward of these animals. I have to say, I'm a big fan of those. I don't know why I didn't use them prior to this build, but I'm a big fan. Yeah, they also have like their prey sack to fight with here, all in the shade. I don't want these animals to get burned, but yeah. So it's all nice and tidy here. And now we come to the one and only Red's tape here.
Yay!
Is it over here? Where do you go? Is it there? Is this chilling over here? Why are you looking? What are you looking at, guys? Oh, I think they just find this...
Maybe they're disappointed.
Yeah, or maybe they just like this wonderful bamboo wall here so much.
Yeah.
I don't know. But this is, this is the bird's tapir habitat on this right-hand side. Oh, there in the back.
I see it in the back. Yeah,
there you go. I can spot it. Yeah, it's kind of incorporated into this side of the habitat. Oh, there's another one just in front of us. Look at that. It's just lying down for us. Look at this. Hello. Are you doing good? Oh, actually, here's a little trick I did. This is the forage box of them, and I sunk it down into the ground. But I also have hidden a little sleeping pad below that ground. So they actually lay down in this little forage box. I found this cool because this looks almost like a little bit of a muddy thing where they would sleep. So this is how they...
It's got a nice texture, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah.
It's adding
That's
another layer.
awesome.
So you've got enrichment, sleeping, and area for them in once. That's how you maximum. Oh, this is, by the way, this is a custom-made tree over here. This is like a little some blooms and flowers in. Yeah. Some growing. This new South American stuff is really cool to build some lovely little tropical trees. Yeah. So, Bo, are you still chewing on your donut, or you are ready for some new food? Oh, what is that question?
On my donut.
Okay. I'm just still going up.
Really quickly to the producer, and the artist who worked most on the Komodo dragons is called Chiche.
Ah, okay.
He's awesome.
Awesome, yeah.
Just giving him a shout out.
Yeah, definitely, that's needed. Can you just repeat it, because I had a little cutout of your voice. What was the name again?
His name is Chiche.
Chiche, okay,
yeah.
Awesome. So a round of applause for Chiche, because these ones are incredible. Look at that.
Yay! Good boys.
Yeah, so good. Yeah, this is another little area because we need food. We have Monsieur Frita and Gulpy Rex soda over here.
Ooh, awesome. You know what? Not being able to travel home at the moment, I am like really missing my Dutch fries. Yeah. So I will take a Monsieur Frita with mayonnaise and peanut sauce and onions.
Oh my god,
yum.
This is great.
Yes.
Yum.
So good.
Take it. Oh, this is so good. Now I'm hungry. It's my lunch break, you know. It's also your lunch break. What are we even doing here? This is kind of talk.
I like to hang out with you. It's okay.
We're just torturing ourselves now. Just to talk on the food. And after the recording, we are both like heading towards our food. The fridge is not safe anymore. Oh my. Oh god, okay, so this is now with a hungry stomach. We just go down. No, we're not. We have our fries. Okay, let's go down here. And to the left-hand side, because there's another viewing area, and I hope that the animals are nice enough to be here, but most of the time they're on the other side of the habitat. Yes, as I was actually thinking. So this would be, theoretically, is the giant anteater habitat. Which also practically it is, but they always hang around with their lovely friends, the capuchin monkeys. Oh, look at that.
Oh,
there's one
cute.
Running around. Because this is a habitat that is split into two, but in fact it's one. So I made like a wonderful shared habitat of both. And I tried to make this side for the giant anteaters and the other one for the capuchin monkeys. But the anteaters are so much best friends with the monkeys that are always on the other side. They love it. Okay, now we come to one of my favorite parts of this entire build, and this is that bridge over here. Look at this bridge. This is so cool because we have obviously a camel hidden in here. There you go, a camel. But it's so much like you have all the shades now in this wonderful triangular shape on top of that one. And then, once you're on the bridge, you can look to the right-hand side and have this wonderful infinity pool-esque view. Look at that.
Wow.
Love it.
And that's amazing.
Is there one of the tapirs down here? Yeah, look at that, sprinkler. As I said, sprinkler. They're always chilling by the sprinklers.
So nice.
Lovely, okay. So that's it. And on the left-hand side, let's just move to the left-hand side. This is what I was just saying. This is the capuchin monkey habitat. A lot of broken down temple and a lot of climbing possibilities, as you can see. Just climbing all the way, playing with some boxes, and yeah, I love these ones. These little monkeys are so cool, but they're also so active. That looks... Alrighty, so what's that? Huh, just chilling there. Okay, now let's just go here, and look at that, we even have like a little waterfall here.
Cute. I love waterfalls.
Yeah, especially now with the next heat wave coming, I need one in my garden actually. Have you heard that? I was like super shocked when I just I checked the news yesterday, and there were like weather forecasts for next week, and I was like, yeah, 29 degrees, 30 degrees. I was like, wait, where? Wait, where? What are you talking of? Yeah, in the western part of Germany. I'm like, okay.
Oh my god.
I'm not prepared. Hello. Yeah, well, whatever. Okay, let's how do we move on? Okay, let me just first show you my wonderful leaf terrace. This is another one with the overlook of the city. Let me just move over.
Pretty.
Look at these.
Does the city have a name? Not
yet. It's Sky Gardens. People can comment.
Okay.
Why not? Or you can give it a name if you want. You have good.
Oh no. It should be from your community.
All right. Let's see what they come up with the name. But yeah, this one over here. I'm gonna show this later on from above when we are not anymore in Tagit Cam. But this area over here is shaped like a leaf. So if you look from the sky, this looks like a leaf. As you can see,
my heart can take it.
Yeah, these white lines are like the structure in there.
Oh, I love it.
That's so cool. And
I'm so excited.
Yeah, on the left hand side, more fruit, more drinks, more stuff, always.
Probably a drink after those salty fries.
Yeah, this is important, right? Which one do you want? We've got a Galpy soda, or we have a Pip Shot smoothie. You want another smoothie?
Well, let's do a soda. Otherwise, we have to cut in line for all these people, and I feel bad.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay,
yeah.
Soda.
Yeah, we'll just grab a soda.
There we go.
Lovely.
Some
Thank
energy.
you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All for free. A special bow episode. All for free. You've got a free pass. It's so good. I own this place, that's fine. All right, now it's time for the Jaguar house, and that is one of my favorites of all times. I don't know. It took ages to build, but I'm just very happy. And this was obviously during the period of time where Lady and I tried to get a Black Panther. And I had plenty of time to build because we were breeding and breeding and breeding. Okay, that sounds wrong, but I mean we were breeding Black Panthers. So just
nice.
Yeah, this is the Black Panther or Jaguar house, if you want to call it. You have got some tour guides over here if you want. A little bit of a seating area, but now as we move in, this is the first look into the habitat. I'm not sure where they're moving around, but we've plenty of opportunities to watch into the habitat. So look at this. There's the family already. This is our friend Lena, the Black Panther, and the small.
I'm going to cry. Oh, look at them.
Yeah, they're just having a good time together here.
Oh, they're so cute.
They are. I love them. The baby jaguars are so good. Okay, let's move up so get a better view of them.
Yay!
There we go.
We don't want to disturb them. Oh my
No,
gosh.
look at that.
Beautiful.
So, I don't know how the small ones are called, but she's called Lena. This is my first Black Panther I had in the game. So this is the first one. This is Lena. She's still with us and still getting a good time in here.
Extra special.
Yeah, extra special. And if we move up, you can... okay, never mind then. I think the people were hungry, so we have some fresh meat for them here as well.
Oh no! Oh gosh!
One of our keepers had a weird idea, I guess. But yeah, if we just look into here, we have another viewing gallery. Look at that. This is the above area for the animals. You can have a look in here. There is a bit more privacy for them. This is like one side glass, so the animals can just go there from the inside. And if you stand here, you can see this is the traversable area to the outside area, because obviously I give them a lot of space and they can move also to the outside. Oh, Lena's also taking it. Wait, she was just running around here. There's she. Look at that.
There
She's
she is.
just
cute.
going to the outside. And obviously, this is all inside. Like I managed to build this all as a building, and it is all fitting in. I don't know how exactly I made this, but it works. And
so incredible, dude.
Oh God, I love it. It's
beautiful.
I think it really kind of gives you the vibe of an indoor house, right? So as you would see it in a real zoo. Obviously, also the security stuff everywhere. It's so important. We don't want anyone to hurt Lena or vice versa, which she never would be doing. But yeah. Then you have also the entrance to the backstage area. So if we just go in here, there's also obviously the backstage area for all the people working in here. They even have like a little view inside the habitat, so you can check if there's anything, if they're okay. And you can also, if you are in this wonderful recreation room, you have a view into their actual privacy area. You can see if they're doing good.
Awesome.
And if you need to call someone, you can just see and just go over and help the animals if needed. And then
what an awesome idea.
Then you can go out, and obviously there's also an area out here where you can go. And let me just sneakily show you another one. We just need to take the route through the garden. There is a very much a private area for our staff members. Look at that. They even have their own vending machine.
Oh, that's so nice.
So they get their extra special view. Look at that, they can chill here, and it's, as you can
They
actually
deserve it.
not here, but I can tell you there's a lot less noise going on now. So you can really have a good break here. Just sit and relax before you need to get back to work. So yeah,
They deserve it.
yeah, I always feel like you have to treat also your staff members right, and then just, you know, make sure that they have some good areas as well. Also custom-made lanterns over here.
Wow.
Lamps in. Oh, we can actually have a look at nighttime later on as well, because I actually went the extra mile and did all the lighting.
Of course you did.
God, but this was fun but pain. Yeah, this is the outside area, by the way. We haven't taken a look at that one. This is the outside area for our Black Panther. It's got waterfall to play with. Yeah, just a little pool to swim in if it wants to. And yeah, just overall a little bit of a nice area to the outside.
Very nice.
Oh, there's a small one. No, don't run away. Okay, never mind. Just gonna quickly go in to show you the inside as well. So this area is in special because I was checking a bit of a real life examples, and this is how you would do it in real life zoos as well, because you can close that door. So if there's like bad weather and stuff, they just move a door in here and they still have a huge amount of space inside the habitat. But you wouldn't have the issue that, you know, they go outside and, you know, maybe even be hurt by stuff flying around or stuff like that. And so yeah, this is a little bit of extra bit of realism. Oh, look at that, Bo, they just come for you. Look at that.
Hi, baby! Come and hang out with me. Oh, they're so cute. I honestly think this might be my favorite habitat from you so far.
Oh, thanks. This is quite an honor.
So good. So good.
Yeah, I love it as well, as I said.
Hello, baby.
Look at them, they're so small. They're like even disappearing in the tall grass. It's so cool.
Oh, I'm so emotional. I love them.
Let's follow them down here. Look at that.
Cute.
Just zoom them.
It'll be nice next year when everything is like safe again to do a nice big community meetup and see everyone.
Oh yeah, that would be so lovely.
It's very much needed.
Yeah, it is. We need our doses of planet community. We need
exactly.
We do need that. Look at that. I love it. Are you going for the pumpkin? Yeah, sure you are, right? Oh, look at that. This is a huge pumpkin for you too. Hey. This is some good food. Oh, I love the animation. Look at the paw. It is so good. Yum, yum, yum.
So cute. Enjoy your pumpkin.
Enjoy it, right. And now let's go up here again. I think I can I just move to the left? No, I cannot. Can I? Oh, just a little bit. Okay, I just need to zoom in. Look at that. This is the backside area here, which was the privacy. They have some sprinklers here. There's also some more enrichment items hidden in the back so that they go here as well. And yeah, if we move here, you can also have a last glimpse into the indoor area again. So yeah, I just wanted to build a lot with different height levels, some elevation, and yeah, I think this habitat has so much to offer for them, but also for the guest. I just think it's the perfect combination of an indoor and outdoor habitat.
Nice.
I quite like it.